Trent, your Pistons suck.
They're historically bad.
That's their longest losing streak in franchise history.
And you know what? This is going to sound crazy. Like it's the roster because their young players are good. If you watch, there's like 4 of them, but they don't have a rotation. There's nowhere to go outside of. They'll get off to a decent start.
No one wants to go play in Detroit.
I understand that, but it's just frustrating, man. Because this GM, I mean, a lot of people put blind faith into it, and it's just not.
They must not be that good. I mean, Orlando went through this, and Orlando every year kept adding a good young player, and now look at them.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, I mean, Cade's Cade. He's on triple-double watch every night.
Well,
and then
he ain't helping them win.
I like Duren a lot. He's been hurt a lot of the year. And Oscar Thompson's been phenomenal. But outside of that, I mean, they just don't really. Bogdanovich has been hurt.
That was a hell of a win for FGCU last night.
Down 15 at the half. Yeah.
And they played. I dozed off early second half. I saw your text. By the time I got it, I'm like, I don't want to respond at 10 because I didn't know if you were in bed.
I was up late last night.
All right, here we go.
Relatively speaking.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this final day of November. What's an animal that you can relate to cold? We're going out like a polar bear? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com.
Out like a polar bear?
Hey, for Florida, this is cold. Okay? I mean, it's not cold for me. I'm fat. All right? But come on now. I know. Mark, it get dropped to 58, 59 at the daughter's soccer the other day? You went into the car. You turned the heat on. You were upset you didn't have heated seats.
I don't know if I was upset I didn't have heated seats. I was very happy to be in a heated automobile, though.
All right. And you're waking up this morning in Southwest Florida. It's very low 50s. You don't have to go that far north. The first digits of 4. Hell, you get to the, I-10. First digits of 3. Come on now. For November in Florida, this isn't that 3-day period in January in which you go, ooh, winter. And then that's it. This is November.
Yeah, there could be. We could have 2 of these this year, David. You're right.
No,
because it was warmer this morning than it was yesterday. I felt like we've survived it.
Okay.
I feel a little stronger today than I did yesterday.
We survived it. What's it?
Winter. A cold snap. Whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Okay. We survived it. All right, so that's 2 days of winter we've had so far. We'll keep a running total. We'll see if we get to a full week. Over under 7.5 on days we consider winter. My guess is if you live above I-4, take the over. Below I-4, close. Kind of like Iowa, points in each half against Michigan. Ooh, very close. Very close. We've got football tonight. Cowboys hosting the Seahawks. It wasn't that long ago. Seattle was really good. It wasn't that long ago in which it was like, same old Cowboys. Yeah. Dallas won 5 of their last 6. Their only loss, that close one at Philly. There's a lot of really bad teams in the NFL, and that's why Dallas is winning, or maybe Dallas is getting a lot better.
There's no doubt. We're going to find out here. Not just tonight, but the schedule for the Cowboys over the course of the next 5 weeks is extremely challenging.
They've got what? They got Philly. They got Miami. They got Detroit. They got some games on the schedule. They're done with the Giants and the Commanders, though. They socked away those wins, right? Or do they have one more with Washington?
I think they're done.
Because I know they're done with the Giants. So the Eagles, meanwhile, are like, oh, no, we still got 2 more with the G-Men. No. We're 10-1. We're really 12-1. And I think we got one with Arizona, too.
They've got Washington last game of the season.
Okay.
But they go through this stretch where it's Seattle, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Miami, Detroit, with the Bills and the Dolphins on the road. That's a solid
nice little stretch.
5 games.
Yeah.
To find out. And I think for Dallas to find out who they are, because they've heard all the talk that they're beating up on the bad teams. So they want to go take it to some better teams in the NFL.
And think about it. The Cowboys can get a 3-day head start on the Eagles. You know, the Eagles played on Monday night. Short week for them to play the Bills. Now they're going to come back. They're going to play the Niners. And then Dallas will have 3 extra days of rest before they host the Eagles. You know, just like that, Niners beat the Eagles. The Cowboys could be playing Philadelphia for a tie for first. Huh? We'll see. First things first. Dallas, solid favorite tonight, too. Approaching double digits. It's in the 9-ish, depending on where you look, category for the Cowboys. So we'll get to that coming up. Roy Cummings will join us on the show. We'll talk Tampa Bay Bucs. Which way are we going? Game out of first? 7th overall pick of the draft. Which way you want to go? And should the Bucs just hold Baker out this week with the bum ankle? And just throw Trask in there and go, well, hell, it's Carolina. We can beat Carolina with Kyle Trask, right? Right?
I'm already saying take the under in that game.
What is
It's
it?
36.5.
Ooh. I don't know, though. Bucs defense seems like just about everybody can move the ball on them except Tennessee. So, okay. That's interesting, though. Kyle Trask against Bryce Young, potentially.
Right.
Yep. A lot of points there. That's true.
I mean, the quarterback play in this league is solid right now.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers practiced yesterday.
Limited, but yes, he did practice.
That's amazing? Or do we think that, is it possible the injury wasn't to the extent that we were told? I mean, a torn Achilles is a torn Achilles.
There aren't
right?
grades of a torn Achilles. This isn't like a MCL that there are different levels of which.
It's on video too. Like it clearly ruptured, you know. There's no gray area here.
I mean, I guess you can partially tear an Achilles, but that didn't look like a partial. I mean, it's 11 weeks. 11 weeks. He's back doing mini agility stuff in the pocket. First off, what are they doing? Why? I honestly, I would say to him, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I want to practice." That's funny. That's cute. Go get a sub. Go to a diner. Go get a sub. Go get the guy's food and water or something. You know, don't you have a NBA owner's daughter to date or something? What are you doing here?
Can you see what happened once you take him out of these State Farm commercials? The guy needs something to do. He needs an endorsement.
Listen, why don't you go on McAfee twice a week? I mean, what are you doing here? Do you want to go live during practice if you want? We can put it on Jets.com. You bored? Man, I just, because, you know, he wants to play, and it sounds like they're going to play him. Ooh, boy. I see, this is where.
Well, he said he wants to play, but he's also said he wants to play if they're still in the hunt.
Well, what's not in the hunt? Don't you have to have 9 losses to be out of the hunt? I mean, in theory, let's just say they split their next 2. They're 5-8. I mean, they're still in the hunt. They can win out. 9-8 still in the hunt, right?
I think that it is.
So, I mean, you're either mathematically alive or you're not, basically. I mean, once you get to 9 losses in the AFC, you're out. Not in the NFC, but in the AFC, you're out. If you were running the Jets, would you play them?
No.
Even if you were mathematically, you're 5-8 2 weeks from now, would you play them?
Not at 5-8. No. I would at 6 and 7.
Okay.
I mean, I would consider it, but at 5-8, I don't think they have a shot. And I'd have to really do a deep dive into what their record is, what their conference record is, what the 9-8 would look like if they won out. And I don't know what that is right now, David.
Well, the other thing is, if he wants to play, wouldn't the Jets' 14th game be against the Dolphins? Yeah, the Jets, their 12th game is this Sunday. It's Atlanta. Their 13th game is the following Sunday. They host the Texans. And then their 14th game, Sunday, December 17th, is at Miami. I mean, first off, they're hosting the Falcons this week. Can they get a W? Then they're hosting the Texans. After the
underdogs
Dolphins
in both games. They're an underdog against the Falcons. Falcons are a 3-point favorite, so they'll certainly be an underdog against Houston.
But obviously it's doable. Then they're at Miami. And then they host the Commanders. I mean, you got to admit, in their next 4 games, 3 of them are doable. Then they're at Cleveland and at New England.
And that's very doable.
Especially since we have no idea who's going to be quarterbacking for Cleveland.
Joe Flacco could be quarterbacking.
I know. They're talking about there's a possibility they're going to use him this week. But so I couldn't believe when I saw him in practice. I went, what? And I mean, just not standing there. Like we saw him Monday Night Football a couple of weeks back. He was just standing there, still had the boot on and what have you, but he was throwing the ball. He's on the field before the game and he's throwing the ball, but he's stationary. He's standing. Oh, okay. He was moving yesterday. He was like Peyton the Peyton Manning chop, 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 chop with the feet, looking right, looking left. And I'm like, whoa. Sit down, buddy. Here's a chair. What are you doing? So
could single-handedly change the way we think of this injury.
Well, this is amazing. I mean, who was the running back? Was it Akers who came back in like 5 months?
Yes. A couple years ago.
I mean, and that was wow. Especially at his position. I mean, 11 weeks? Damn. This is where I wish they'd be more forthcoming too. Was this a full tear? And also, could we talk about this procedure? Is this new?
What did you do differently?
Yeah.
What about your procedure, your rehab? You had to have done something differently to be at the point you're at now.
Right.
What was it?
Right. They told you what the traditional surgery and treatment was, and then they told you what this one was. Because, you got a lot of weekend warriors, Aaron, who are your age or a little older, and they're still playing pickup basketball, and they're blowing out their Achilles left and right. So what'd you do? I don't know. I'm interested. Miller and Moulton. Fun show lined up for you. Roy Cummings talk about the Bucs. Dr. Roto makes his weekly house call, and NASCAR is in the money. We'll tell you about it.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Where the hell are you, Guillermo? You're in Spain?
Wow. May have to retire there, huh? Going to have a lot of explaining to the natives when they're like, what the hell is that show? Turn that off. I guess Petrino didn't come back on the motorcycle.
No.
That was a great idea.
There's a Twitter account I follow called No Context College Football.
Uh-huh.
I got to get the wording because it's so good. No Context College Football has a picture of them storming the court after beating Duke.
Uh-huh.
And it simply says, Petrino is turning this place around.
I like that last part, Guillermo. Incredibly affordable.
You know, the other thing with this Rodgers situation that's interesting is there was, like, remember when he first went down and they were like, he might come back in December, but if they're in playoff contention, how can you bench Zach Wilson, all that stuff? And now it's like they'd welcome him back with open arms. The fans would, at least.
Well, there was never any.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
It's Zach Wilson.
I just remember people saying, you know, hypothetically, if they're still in the hunt for the playoffs, then that means that Zach Wilson had been, how are you going to bench that guy?
Really? Then those people you should never listen to again.
Well, that was week one. That was week one.
I will say the national talking, like David, like the Fortenbaugh show, just the shows I listened yesterday to ESPN radio, none of them want Florida State in. They are lobbying hard
Oh,
to get Florida State out.
oh, Paul Feinbaum. He's got his marching orders, man. He's shilling like crazy. Oh yeah. Coke and Pepsi, baby. Fox and ESPN, Big Ten and SEC. That's all it's going to be going forward. Coke and Pepsi.
I will say Fortenbaugh got with one of his bookmakers at the Westgate or one of them and got the point spreads of
What the
as
hype?
of today.
Right.
It was 15 for Georgia, 14 for Michigan, 12 for Oregon, 10 for Bama.
Over Florida State?
Yeah, as of today. And he even pointed out that if Florida State were to beat Georgia, that number would go up.
You said if Florida State were to beat Georgia.
If Alabama were to beat Georgia,
Gotcha.
the Alabama number would actually go up.
Yeah, I would take the points against Bama.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thursday night football tonight. The Cowboys will host the Seahawks. Seattle, the 6th seed right now in the NFC, but they've lost 2 in a row, 3 of 4, and they've got a daunting schedule that they are dealing with right now. At Dallas, at San Francisco in back-to-back weeks. And then I believe they host Baltimore. Or no, they host Philly. I don't think you can do tougher than that, actually. It sounds like the 3 best teams in the NFC, and they're playing all of them the next 3 weeks. 2 of them on the road. 6 and 5 could be 6 and 8. Just saying. Which is why the 5 and 6 teams, Green Bay, the Saints, the Rams, very much alive. Very much alive. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Did you hear Matt Rule's comments
I did.
yesterday?
I did. It's going to take a little bit of money in the portal to get a quarterback. A couple million.
Right. In fact, he said there are some players that are making 5, 6, 7 million a year. Just want you guys to know what the price of doing business is. So, I would prefer to build the team from within. And I don't want to get 1-year transfers unless they're unbelievably impact players. I would prefer, if we're going to hit the portal, which I don't have a problem with, I got to have 2-3 years availability. Otherwise, I just don't think it's worth it. But 1 to 2 million a year, he said, basically for a quarterback in the transfer portal. Poll question today could be overpaid, underpaid, or just right. I'm sounding sarcastic, but I'm actually serious.
Well, I mean, I know that's a little sarcastic, and I'm just wondering if people have a problem with that. Money in a paper bag before.
Right.
Now it's out in the open.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Van Dyke's leaving Miami.
Yep.
Gators, you want them, and I'm just using that team. You've got your 5-star coming in, and you got Mertz maybe for another year. I am literally just using that team. $2 million. Florida State. That 5-star might be ready to come in. If he's not, you get a quarterback for a year. It's $2 million worth it.
I mean, $150,000 a game is $1.8 million. If you make it to the conference championship game, it's right around 2. I mean, I remember when Spurrier 12, 13 years ago thought, I think we should be, can I get my Spurrier accents a little early? I think we should be paying these guys a stipend. All right. At 250, 300, 400 a game. Put it away for them. Give them the money when they're done. I don't see anything wrong with that. And people thought he was bat blank crazy. What are you talking about? A stipend.
A stipend. Are you kidding me? Spending money for a college football athlete?
300 a game?
Oh.
Take it easy there, big fella. So,
and if you're a college player, and I know everybody, you got to be loyal. That school recruited you. If you're a college football player who's not getting decent NIL money and you're a quarterback and you got 1 year left and you're not going to play, you're not a projected first-round draft pick. You're not a projected first two-day draft pick. But you can go make a couple $1 million your last year in college?
Now, Matt Rule's not implying every quarterback in the portal. Like if you bring in a quarterback, it's, oh, well, if he plays quarterback, it's at least $1 million. No, I mean, we're talking about a good quarterback. You know, somebody in which you're like, oh, wow, yeah, he'd come in, start right away. Like I don't
at Notre Dame.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the guy. I mean, that's the one I wanted to focus on because the guy went from Wake Forest to Notre Dame.
Right. Like Riley Leonard is leaving Duke. Now, Leonard was hurt a good chunk of the year last year, but in 2022, Riley Leonard was money. And the word is he's going to Notre Dame. I'll bet you it's $2 million. 150 grand a game.
Going to pass another basket at church this Sunday to get this covered.
No doubt.
Man, they've got NIL figured out.
They've had it figured out for a long time. Right out in the open, too. Just ask for it and everything. Hell, they'll tell you if they need more. They'll tell you the exact amount sometimes, how much they need. Could you imagine if Freeman started doing that? Weekly listen, before we start, I'd just like to, how do they do it at church? Like to give you like a building update.
Right.
They go through. Listen, before
making room for more campaign has started. We're looking for
exactly
$40 million. We're looking for a quarterback, 2 linemen, a receiver, an edge rusher, a linebacker, and a safety.
I love you use the word campaign because every good church fundraising effort is a campaign.
I'm there most Sundays, David. I know.
That'd be phenomenal if he started. He said, listen, I'll get to our bowl game here in a second, our opponent, and we're thrilled to be playing another bowl game. Looking forward to trying to have another 10-win season here at Notre Dame. But our building campaign is underway. People looking around your building? Well, of the program. Our building campaign is underway. We need $12 million. $12 million? What are you going to do? And then he goes through the laundry list that Mark just read. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to build a quarterback. We're going to build the number 1 wide receiver. We're going to build an edge rusher. We're going to and when we put all those together, we will have done. Because see, we've laid the foundation. Your donations thus far have laid the foundation. What we want to do is we want to make it a palace. Oh, that'd be great. Do you have a problem with basically your good quarterback in the fives, in the transfer portal is costing you 100 to 150 grand a game? You got a problem with that? Yay or nay? Because I'm not kidding. This is would you call this a $1 billion enterprise? Certainly for the schools, it's $100+ million enterprise.
Yes.
So the quarterback is 1% of the enterprise?
Seems like he's underpaid to me.
I was going to say that, but, don't want to have people in shock and horror so early in the morning. Oh, how could you say that? Really? 1%? I don't know. Cost of doing business, right? Remember, what is this? It's a TV show.
What's even crazier is that Kentucky's spending that kind of money on their hoop team.
And others are spending more. They've been passed. They've just run right by John Cal. I'm telling you, they got a good team this year.
Yes, they do.
Hope you enjoyed the last couple of years making fun of Kentucky and, haven't gotten beyond a Sweet 16 in a while. You got a good team this year.
They pounded Miami, and they got 2 7-footers that didn't even play.
Yeah, it's just they got potential. Is all we're saying. But like Johnny in our Twitch chat room, they buy the degrees for these guys. That should be enough. Okay. All right. Just enjoy 5 and 7. That's all.
C's get degrees, but it costs you $2 million to get a quarterback.
Right.
Okay? That's just the way it is.
Right. I mean, you can be president getting C's, but you can't win the ACC, okay? I mean, priorities. The starting 5 is next. Thanks for joining us on this final day of November, Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again,
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. God, did my Wings blow one last night. They were outplayed, but they had to, get a third period lead. You got to hold it.
Game winner got batted out of midair, right?
I know. Great goal. Great goal. And it was probably a high stick, but they called it a goal. They didn't do the confirm the call. They didn't overturn it. You know what I mean? It was right there. But it was called a goal, so it was going to stay a goal.
Huh.
It was really close. RCB, I'll take Georgia and lay the 15 right now.
How high would that line have to get, or how big would it have to get before you wouldn't take Georgia? 24?
No, not that big. I think once it would approach 20, it would be too much.
Okay.
But I'd lay the 15. Or I'm sorry, it was 14. 14 Georgia, 13 Michigan, 12 Oregon, 10 Alabama is what Fortenbaugh said yesterday. Pistons getting some serious Sports Center love of how bad this streak is.
Yeah, it's historically awful. They're terrible.
And become the 8th team to go 0-15 in a month.
I mean, it's getting hard for me to watch. It's been hard for me to watch.
You watched last night?
Yeah. Well, it's LeBron. I mean, come on. Not sure. Rarely does he ever play against the Pistons. I was shocked he did.
They got beat by 44 the game before.
Yeah, that's true.
They needed to reestablish things.
But, I mean, people are just circling the Pistons games and resting everyone, like they should. Like Jokic didn't play against the Pistons. Can't think off the top of my head. There's a ton of examples, though. Everyone's resting their stars.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings, an hour from now, as we look ahead for the Bucs. Should they be focusing on next year's draft? Or, hey, come on now, the only game out of first. Beat Carolina, they can be right there. Is it time to turn the page and give Kyle Trask a shot? We'll talk to Roy Cummings about all of that 1 hour from now. And the doctor makes his weekly fantasy house call on Miller and Moulton 2 hours from now. Just hold off on the questions. You know how we do this. We wait until the 8 o'clock hour, keep all the questions together on the text line and the Twitch chat room, and then we fire them at Dr. Roto, and he answers them.
I got a lot of questions to get in.
You do?
I'm gonna need some time.
So you're gonna Before we start this segment, Mark, take it away. Yeah, Doc, my fantasy team. I don't know why I changed your voice there.
I don't know either, but when it comes to fantasy, I think I can accept that. I have a couple of buddies that are in high stakes leagues that will text me when they're in a dilemma. And I kind of text the one back. I go, this segment is for the listeners. And he's like, what the blank do you think I am? I've just got your phone number.
drroto.com, by the way. That's what you should text him back, by the way. drroto.com. See how well that goes over. Hey,
I
buddy.
will say, I did have a dilemma, and I know you got the starting five to get to, so I'll go quickly. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you, David, because my wife was very concerned yesterday that there's playoffs for her my daughter's youth soccer team start. And we've got games this weekend. There's a game Friday, a game Saturday, a game Sunday. My daughter also does gymnastics, and she was supposed to have a lesson Friday. And my wife was very concerned that it was too much for the 9-year-old to play 2 sports in one day. And David gave me advice. And so as this was going on yesterday, I finally sent this text out. She will be fine doing both on Friday. If Deion Sanders could play in a World Series game and a football game in the same day, I'm confident Maddie can do gymnastics and soccer in the same day. That ended it.
There you go.
And
boom.
Deion saved. And when I picked my daughter up, I told her, I said, the Geico commercials with the buffalo? There's the old guy and
right.
The 2 coaches, the black guy, the white guy. The black guy. That's Deion. I go, he's maybe one of the best football players to ever play. And I explained the story to her. I said, so if he could do it at the highest level, Maddie, do you think you can handle gymnastics and soccer in the same day? She said, yes, Dad. That's my girl.
There you go.
I had to use Deion to get this done. So thanks, Prime.
Love it. So another win in the column for Deion.
Small wins. Small wins.
It's okay. Glad he could help out, Mark. It is time for
the starting 5. 5 stories you need to know. It's the starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
You ready for some Thursday night football? Huh? You've been missing some action, haven't you? Last couple of days. These are the 5 and 6 seeds currently in the NFC. Dallas, the 5 seed at 8-3. Seattle, the 6 seed at 6-5. And Dallas is hosting Seattle, and they're a 9-point favorite. Over/under is 47.5. Basically, Vegas is saying 28-19 Dallas. Seattle has lost 3 of 4. Kenneth Walker is doubtful. Dallas has won 5 of 6, with their only loss coming at Philly a few weeks ago. Cowboys are playing very, very well. Aaron Rodgers practiced yesterday. You heard me. Limited participant at practice. He was moving around in the pocket. Unbelievable. 11 weeks after Achilles surgery. Bailey Zappi, when the media was able to watch practice, was getting the first team reps for New England. Mac Jones didn't get a snap, apparently, while the media was allowed to watch Patriots practice. What does it mean? Could mean nothing. Could mean the Mac Jones era is over in New England. Patriots with 2 wins on the year hosting the Chargers this Sunday. College football news, no surprise. South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler declares for the NFL draft. I think he can play in the NFL. Not saying he's a franchise quarterback, but I'll tell you what. The Commanders gave Sam Howell a shot. I'd give Spencer Rattler a shot before I would have given Sam Howell a shot. I think he can play. I love how he handled adversity. You figure he's going to go to a bad team? Well, South Carolina this year, their offense was not good. Their offensive line was abysmal. He handled it well, and he was still accurate. He got hit a lot. With pro scouts, Mark, as impressive as he was at the end of 2022 when they beat Tennessee and Clemson, if you talk to pro scouts, what he did this year with the adversity that he faced impressed them more than what he did when things were going well in 2022. Max Johnson's going to try North Carolina now. He tried LSU. He tried A&M. Brad Johnson's kid's going to North Carolina. Duke quarterback Riley Leonard enters the transfer portal. The word is he's going to Notre Dame. And Nebraska head coach Matt Rule says, well, if you want a good quarterback in the portal, it's at least $1 million. Most likely $1.5 million to $2 million. So T.O. asked, get your popcorn ready. Matt Rule's basically saying, get your checkbook ready. Speaking of money, you see the deal NASCAR signed yesterday? It's not going to go into effect for another year, but NASCAR just got a 40% raise from the television networks. But it's not going to be as simple as it used to be. You know, Fox the first half of the year, NBC the second half of the year. Yeah, you know, you gotta work in that streaming money.
Well, if you're going to get a raise, that's the only way to get it, David.
Because about a year or so ago, the word was Fox and NBC were interested, but they weren't quite as interested as they have been. And so NASCAR struck this deal. It's going to be a 7-year, $7.7 billion deal, $1.1 billion a year. And that's a 40% raise over what they're getting now. So the first 14 races are going to be on Fox, the next 5 exclusively on Amazon, then the next 5 on TNT and Max, and then the last 14 on NBC. By the way, the CW is going to be televising the Xfinity Series exclusively for 7 years, beginning in 2025. NBA. Magic have won 8 in a row. Thank you very much. That's the Orlando Magic, ladies and gentlemen. 139-120 over Washington.
That's a win and a
cover. Meanwhile, you want to make money, bet against the Detroit Pistons.
oofda.
Thank you, Vern. Lakers, 133-107 in Detroit. 15th straight loss for the Pistons. Our Trent Bally watched the game nonetheless. Wow.
You don't know how many more games LeBron has against your team. Your team.
I agree.
He's resting against the Pistons because they've been terrible for the last decade plus. So I don't get to watch LeBron play the Pistons a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, he ended the Pistons, and then he never has to play against them again.
He ended the Pistons.
He did.
Yes.
That's harsh.
Haven't heard since.
It's true, but that's harsh. That's cold, as they say, Mark. That's cold. 15th straight loss for the Pistons. This franchise has been around a while. They were even in Fort Wayne. Okay, they've never lost 15 in a row until now. I love what their coach had to say. This team has trouble handling adversity. Sounds more than that, coach, but okay. Pelicans, Zion was nearly perfect. Embiid didn't play, so they beat the Sixers by 10. This whole ACC-SEC challenge, I don't know. I think year one got off to a decent start. They went 7-7. We called the upset last night. Arkansas at home took care of Duke, 80-75. They stormed the court. Don't know if it was worthy of that, but yeah, sure. What the heck? Wednesday night in Fayetteville. What else is going on? Gators lost to Wake Forest, 82-71. Florida.
Bad final 4 minutes for the Gators.
Yeah, not good.
The tied game, they blew that late.
Yeah, they fell apart late. Florida's 4-3. Florida State, meanwhile, was up 17 on Georgia at home and lost. Ouch.
That's a bad loss.
That is. 68-66. Elsewhere in the ACC-SEC Challenge, Virginia and BC and North Carolina were victorious for the ACC. Auburn victorious for the SEC. The Carolina game against Tennessee was entertaining. 192.
Right.
Let's roll the balls out and let's go. I like it. FGCU was down 15 at the half. Rallied and beat FIU on the road 68-65, just the second win of the year for the Eagles. North Florida actually gave Iowa a half. It was a 4-point game at the half on the road. Then the Hawkeyes won by 25. North Florida's 4-4. JU improved to 5-2 with a win. So did Stetson. FAMU is still winless. They lost in overtime to Albany, 92-85. Women's hoops. Miami remains unbeaten. I'll bet you they're ranked next week. They went on the road, beat nationally ranked Mississippi State, 74-68. Good win for the Gators in the women's ACC SEC Challenge. They went on the road, beat Georgia Tech by 10. They're 6-1. FGCU, North Florida winners, FIU, FAU losers in women's hoops. Hockey. Rangers with 2 in the third to come back and beat the Wings 3-2. Montreal.
Sorry. Did I do that? No.
You did. Wow. Oh. Canadians doubled up the Blue Jackets 4-2. And the Caps with a nice win. They had lost a couple in a row. The Kings had won 5 in a row. And Washington beat LA 2-1. Do you know how many goals Ovechkin has, by the way?
Not many.
5. 5. Do we want to, just prorate this out? You know how many goals this is? This is like 18 goals on the season. Now, is he just going through a rough patch, or has the old man hit a wall? Because at this rate, it's going to take a long time to pass Gretzky. A long time. Like 4 years.
Right.
Right. So, and he's 38. I mean, close. So just wondering. And most of those goals, by the way, when there hasn't been a goalie on the ice also. He has not scored many times when there's been somebody in net. Just saying. Panthers and Lightning both in action tonight. Florida's at Montreal, and the Lightning are hosting Sid and the Penguins. Baseball news: Marlins lost utility man Garrett Hampson. He went to the Royals. I was a little surprised that the Marlins non-tendered him. He was a versatile guy for them last year. Played like 4 different positions. Nice, player to have on the bench, help you win. And they lost him for $2 million. And the Yankees, Luis Severino's now a Met. He's going across town. 1 year is $13 million. That seems to be the going rate for their middle of the rotation righties. They're getting 12 to 13 million. And Andre Dawson Mark is taking one more crack at it. He's still angry at the Baseball Hall of Fame that he went in as an Expo. He wants to be a Cub. And so he's petitioned them, and they're meeting, and he's going to present his case one final time. Basically, change the damn plaque. You got an Expo hat on me. I want it to be a Cubs hat. I won my MVP in Chicago. I want to be a Cub. So there.
That'll get him all the old styles he'll ever need.
And as we approach 7 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
When you think of the Hawk, and I don't mean Harrelson, that's another thing, Andre. Can we have 2 Hawks in Chicago? Never mind the fact we have the Blackhawks, okay? We already have Ken the Hawk Harrelson. Can we also have Andre the Hawk Dawson? I mean, can we?
One's a South Sider, one's a North Sider. I think you can do that.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. When you think of Andre Dawson, do you think Expo or do you think Cub?
I think Cub, because the time he was at the Cubs was when I was racing home as a young kid to watch WGN in the afternoon. So more of my memories are with him, watching him as a Cub. What about you?
Played a little over half his career in Montreal, 6 years with the Cubs in a 21-year career.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water. Kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
What was that?
It was the
I was freaking out back here.
no, yeah, it's just one of the video playing on a website.
Okay, I got you.
I don't know why it started.
That's fine.
I thought it was the one I just
something on
pulled
my
up,
end.
and then I'm looking.
Ovechkin's career shooting percentage is 13%. His shooting percentage this year is just under 7. So DC is right with you, Mark. He thinks of him as a Cub coming home and watching him on WGN. It's part of that great outfield in Montreal.
I will say Ovechkin this year scored his 56th empty net goal, tying Gretzky. In the for what it's worth category.
Okay.
Marian Hossa with 40 is third on the list of empty net goals.
There's a blast from the past.
Coming back.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this final day of November. How about that? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings to join us, talk a little Tampa Bay Bucs in a little more than 35 minutes time. Next hour, we'll start taking your questions to fire them at Dr. Roto in our final segment along the network at a little after 8:30. So, Tiger was in the news.
Yes, he was. You know, I got a DM from one of our listeners that I follow on Twitter. He's been very good to us for some things we've needed over the years, and we've developed you and I both developed a relationship with him. He's been great to us. And he sent me a private message, a DM on Monday with a tweet on it. It says, Tiger has been telling people in South Florida that his walking is no longer as much of an issue. He could play 5 to 6 tournaments in 2014. Okay, that's great info. But he followed it with this. Name the bet. He's winning another major. Matter of fact, I have 1.5 as the over-under, and I'm taking the over.
Whoa!
But if the over-under is a half, I back up the truck on the over. And I just said, I hope you're right, but I'll take the bet. Now, what's the bet?
Well, you can't do a paycheck because his paycheck's better than ours.
Way better.
Right. So
And he big-leagued me. He did. He came back with a stone crab dinner. About as, high end as you can go in Southwest Florida.
Sure.
And I said, done.
Well, if you need a loan, let me know. I'm on your side. Wow. Not win a tournament.
No. Win a major.
Went straight. So he's going to be able to play 5-6 tournaments a year. And our buddy there is thinking, oh, well, he's winning a major.
How old's Tiger?
Well, let's see. He is, I believe he turns 48 at the end of next month. I believe his birthday is either December 30th or 31st. Him and LeBron both, I think, is their birthday the same day or within a day of each other.
December 31st, same day.
Okay. So, and he was born in 75, right? Tiger? I believe he's 48 in a month.
But he can walk without pain, so therefore he's going to win a major. That's the conclusion that this gentleman, and I think others, have drawn from the fact that Tiger said he can walk relatively pain-free now, that the ankle's no longer an issue.
Correct. Now, he did say, I have other issues.
Right, and they're more sore because they're taking the brunt of my pain that the ankle is not anymore.
But the ankle and the plantar fasciitis, that's not the issue right now. Okay, well, that's great. No, it is. It's awesome. Clearly, he wasn't even able to finish tournaments for the last couple of years since the car accident. He really wasn't. It was 50% as to whether he could finish the tournament. I mean, I think he withdrew from 3 different majors in the last 2 years. I mean, so obviously it was bad. So, okay, that's good. Here's the thing that's even better. We thought the last 2 years, if you listen to him, Masters Open Championship. Don't know how, because of course, he Masters because of his love for it, and the Open Championship because they're almost always flat. Otherwise, he having trouble playing anything else. Played the one PGA, had to withdraw after 3 rounds. Didn't play in anything last year except the Masters, which he ended up withdrawing from. But Tiger said, I got to be honest, with the way I'm feeling, I'm thinking a tournament a month. And he said, I'll start in February.
Right. He's going to play his tournament this week. He's going to play the father-son in December. He's taking January off.
Right. And then, pick whichever tournament. He said, I may wait till March, but, he goes, wouldn't mind getting out there in February. And then he said it'll be either Bay Hill or the Players in March. His loyalty to Arnie's tournament. I actually think it'd be cool if he played in Bay Hill instead of he doesn't need the Players. Then obviously Augusta, then the PGA, then the U.S. Open, and then the Open Championship. And okay. And now next year there's an Olympics. My feeling on this. He'll never qualify to play in the Olympics.
Correct.
And he wasn't healthy, I believe, the last time we had the Olympics. I think we should send Tiger. I actually think he's earned that. I do. I know that's not how we do things with the Olympics. You usually have to qualify. I would just take his resume and go, I don't know, 82 tour wins and 15 majors. I think he's qualified. But anyway, nobody cares about the Olympics and golf. I just think it'd be cool for Tiger to, walk and I don't know, be in the Olympics. But it brings up also now the Ryder Cup. So, Mark, I don't know if you're aware, but they played one earlier this year. How'd the U.S. do?
I think they just lost another match.
I think you're right. If Patrick Cantlay wasn't involved or Max Homa, they got beat. So, Europe, by the way, is doubling down. They just announced yesterday, we're coming right back with Luke Donald as captain. Everybody loved him. He did a great job. We're going to pull off what Tony Jacklin did in the 80s. We're doubling down. We're going to win 2 in a row, including at your place, which is Bethpage Black in 2025. Rowdy Long Island, where Tigers won, I think, 2 majors. And obviously, he's popular everywhere. But imagine Tiger as Ryder Cup captain in the New York metropolitan area where, you want to talk about taunting the Euros. Yeah. And Tiger's like, I don't think I'm ready to be Ryder Cup captain yet. We got a lot going on here. This whole PGA Tour thing and whether or not we're going to, I got a lot on my
Whether this
plate.
merger ever happens, he's on the players committee or on the board. He's a player serving on the board.
Right. They put him on the policy board. And also, me and Rory, we're starting up this video, golf league here. So I got a lot on my plate. I don't know if I'm ready for Ryder Cup captain. And meanwhile, everybody associated with golf is like, well, it's Tiger's job if he wants it. So Tiger Woods back as a golfer is what has happened this week, Mark. He says he's healthy enough that he can play, he can walk, and he's thinking, I'm going to play probably 6 tournaments a year, 1 tournament a month for 6 months. Let's go.
And as Tiger has always said, he doesn't play to participate. Tiger thinks he can win. He wouldn't be doing this. He believes that he can play high-level competitive golf, or he wouldn't be playing.
And he was asked that question, and he said, yeah, I'm not going to be a ceremonial golfer, at least not in my mind. He goes, the minute I come to the conclusion that I can't compete with these guys, he goes, I'm done. Now, what will be interesting is, I mean, because once again, like a few people in our Twitch chat room here have said, really? He's 48 in a month? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. He takes that hat off. You see that receding hairline. Yes, he is. Everything else about him looks 32. Takes the hat off. He's 48.
And as we've pointed out many times, he's 48 with the body of a 60-year-old.
Yeah. That was before the car crash.
Right. I mean, he has had multiple surgeries, back, neck, knee,
shoulders, knees,
ankle,
wrists. Right. I mean, you know, he's the bionic man.
Beat me to it, David.
He's got to see Aaron Rodgers' doctor.
Well, I mean, listen, we do know that the rich and famous do get a little better medical care. I mean, money and influence does have its advantages sometimes. So, anyway, that's the news of the week, Mark. Tiger, he's back. He's going to play a little bit of golf here. What? He's playing at noon today, right?
Yes, he is.
And he's going to play his little dog and pony show a week or two later. And then we'll see him, I don't know, West Coast swing maybe? Play a tournament. Then somewhere in Florida in March. And then let's do the majors. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Listen, hey, we compare Tiger to Hogan after the car accident. There were years Hogan played 2 tournaments after the car accident and late in his career. He did. There were years in which, and Hogan had a lot of years where he played between 2 and 5 tournaments late in his career. Mark, here's the bet. And you've already won your bet with our buddy there. I mean, that's win a major. That's laughable.
I want to pay it. I think there should be a couple-year window on this.
My thing, and I know he's actually going to play more majors and he's going to play non-majors. But, is Tiger – I mean, first off, how many guys went on the PGA Tour at 48 and older? You can count that on one hand, I think, guys. Man, maybe 2 hands. Guys who have won PGA Tour events 48 years of age and older. And now you got Tiger with everything he's gone through and put himself through. I mean, Tiger's tied with Sam Snead for first place in the all-time wins, which we thought Tiger would have been like 30 ahead of him by now. But that, to me, is the bet, Mark. Does Tiger win anything again to break the tie with Snead?
I've said no for the longest time.
I have as well.
I don't believe that he will. It's one of those that I'd love to be proven wrong on, because it doesn't matter the turn. This is where with Tiger, it doesn't matter if it's a major or not. If a Sunday comes along and Tiger Woods is on top of the leaderboard or near the top of a leaderboard, the world will stop what they're doing to watch golf. I don't care if it's Bay Hill. I don't care if it's the old Buick Open, for crying out loud. They'll stop what they're doing.
Darn right they will. So Sam Snead and Tiger, 82 wins. Jack in third at 73. But Tiger's back and he's playing golf. What, noon today? I think he's teeing off. My guess is you'll be able to find that somewhere. I mean, isn't that what streaming golf channels for?
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You know, Tiger's one of those guys that when he says he doesn't want to be he's not going to golf unless he can actually compete. He 100% means it.
Yes.
You know, he's one of the few that I think actually could say something like that, and you would have to take his word for it.
Herbie's on the no Florida State thing too.
Here's what surprises me is that I'm surprised they wouldn't at least say, can we wait until after the ACC title game? For this reason. Remember in 2014, you know, what the starter for Ohio State got hurt there? And it was like, ooh, I don't know if we can put Ohio State in. You know, they're down to their backup third-string quarterback there, Cardell Jones. And then they went out and kicked the absolute tar out of, I think it was Wisconsin, like 50-something to nothing in the Big Ten title game. And it was like, huh. Yeah, okay, I guess we can put these guys in. I mean, shouldn't we let Florida State, you know, let this kid get another week of practice? He played, he got his feet wet.
Yeah, you're right, but the games are on Saturday and the selection show's on Sunday, so there's not a lot of time to talk about it. That's all. I got a little something here about that. I don't know if you saw it. The kid that filmed Tyreek Hill, that had the phone, that Tyreek Hill, they took his credential away for the year.
Ridiculous.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
What happened there?
Do you know when Tyreek Hill scored the touchdown and he grabbed the phone and did the backflip, did the selfie?
Yeah.
They took the credential of the person who had the phone away for the year.
What did he do?
He knew Tyreek.
So he was there waiting.
He gave him the phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. It's not like he just took it. I see what you're saying.
But the kid was
That's
hired
dumb.
to be a
Yeah.
content creator for the NFL. It's some of the best content that you could ever get.
It's as good as you're going to get. It's like mic'd up and then stuff like that.
They even showed it on Hard Knocks. I forgot to watch that again last night. I got to watch that today.
Apparently, they have all the Jalen Phillips injury and him talking.
Yeah.
And apparently, it's really good.
Like I said, the first one was good. Just the sideline talk during an NFL game of players going. I mean, if Tyreek Hill going, Houston, we've got a problem. That might be the best defensive player in the league right there. You know, I mean, when they're talking about another player like that to me is something. They're used to the best in the world every damn week.
Yeah.
And for Tyreek right now,
right?
There ain't a lot of people playing better than Tyreek right now.
Well, because Tyreek said, "I'm the best." Like when he scored the touchdown, he's like, "I'm the best in the world."
Well, and to say it during the game
Right.
instead of afterwards after you win and you kind of like tip your cap, to say it in the heat of it, that's pretty cool.
It was cool. I was in Lehigh yesterday for a home inspection. Lehigh's wonderful this time of year. Lehigh's huge.
Yeah. Yep.
And just getting bigger. They can't build houses fast enough out there right now.
That's because they're cheaper. And
Well, the only place
it's too expensive to live
anywhere else.
Coming back.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Roy Cummings to join us in a little more than 15 minutes time to talk about the Bucs. What direction are they heading? Can they turn things around from here? Adam Stern, Sports Business Journal, he was the one who broke the story about NASCAR's new deal. It means more money. It means a lot less races on network television.
You know, the one thing that people my age, our age, complain the most about streaming is the ability to flip between games. That is, and I don't know if it's the same complaint, Trent, that your generation has.
It sucks when you have to go in and out of every...
Because it takes a long time. You got to go out of an app. You got to open a new app. You got to find it. It's a bit of a pain. It is the one thing in the streaming world that they've got to figure out how to go from A to B a little more quickly. And that's what when you brought up the NASCAR, David, that's the first thing I thought of, is that Amazon Prime, I'll throw a NASCAR race on in the midst of what other, I'm watching golf, I'm watching whatever. I can put a NASCAR race on and check it out. I don't go look for it. I wonder about going to Amazon Prime for the casual viewer, how many of them they will lose. The money's there, but it's the huge X factor to me, David, when it comes to streaming, because people complain all the time. If you're still on regular cable, you just hit the previous button. Well, if you're on streaming, you can't do that.
Right. I don't know how important it is anymore. Like when the deal is 14 races on Fox, 14 on NBC. They're not all on Fox and they're not all on NBC. Like of the 14 races on Fox, I think only 5 are on Fox. I think 9 are on FS1. Of the 14 races on NBC, I think only 5 or 6 are on NBC. The others are all going to be on USA Network. So NASCAR is getting more money here. Well, there's no doubt about it. But they're going to be on network television a lot less. And listen, we all know we're all watching streaming, okay? We've all, we all went from network TV to cable a generation ago. Now we're going from television, so to speak, to streaming right now. But there's no denying, you put something on network television, more people see it. I mean, Monday Night Football, with the writer's strike, you know what they did? They said, well, I guess we might as well put this on ABC. It's not like we got any original programming we can put on Monday nights. So Monday Night Football, for a good chunk of this year, has also been on ABC. Hey, guess what? More people are watching. Really? Then if it's on ESPN, I'm shocked. And Mark, nothing is getting the ratings that sports is. I'm actually surprised. If I was running a network, I'd be like, it's funny, you're proposing we like put most of this on cable. I was actually thinking maybe we put almost all of it on the network, because what the else do we have? And have you noticed people are watching sports right now? They released the college football ratings for the year are basically done. There were 12 games this year that drew 8 or more million viewers. 12. That's a lot. For the record, that's a lot. It used to be, hey, if you can get above 5 million, wow, 7 million? Damn, that's a lot. 12 games, guys. 12 drew 8 or more million viewers. Highest rated game, by the way, the ratings came in for Ohio State, Michigan, the highest rated game in 12 years since the Alabama LSU 9-6 game. 19 million. Peaked at over 22. That's 19 million is a really good 1 o'clock NFL game. But the peak at 22 million, that's a 425 rating on Fox or CBS. Not for a Cowboys game, but for every other game, not a Cowboys game. So, second highest rated, by the way, Colorado, Oregon, 10 million viewers. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State. Have you noticed Ohio State's in 3 of the 4 highest rated games of the year? Anybody notice that?
Wonder why they were ranked 6th by the playoff committee and not 8th.
Well, it's real simple. If Florida State and Texas lose, they got to be able to get them in. They can't put them all the way at 8th. It's too big of a pull. Put them at 6th.
Jeez.
See, he's really catching on.
Listen.
What'd you say again? What is it?
It's a TV show.
Oh, thank you, Trent. Colorado State, Colorado was the 5th highest rated college football game of the year. That was at 10 o'clock at night on ESPN. Because all the others here, with the exception of Texas, Alabama, all the others are on network television, if you will. 10 of the 12 highest rated. But 9.3 million people on that Saturday night watched that Colorado State double overtime game till 2 a.m. on the East Coast.
That's nuts.
That's Dion is what that is. That's had the hype machine going. So anyway.
It's still nuts. I know that was Dion and the hype machine, but that is crazy that game was rated as high it was. Well, just how quickly we're looking for something new.
Well, and people just this is why football's king too, right? Because something as simple as that, and there's nothing simple about Dion, but something like that will just tilts everything.
3 of the 11 highest rated games of the year involved Dion in Colorado. And by the way, there were the top 7 highest rated games were non-SEC games.
SEC fatigue?
Or it just,
Or is it the fact that the SEC country watches no matter what, and the rest of the country jumps in when it's their game?
Basically, you throw the whole Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State trifecta in with Dion, and those were the top 7 games. And then you start getting to Iron Bowl, LSU, Alabama, Texas, Alabama, blah, blah, blah. But the ratings, once again, proved out. Ohio State's the number 1 draw in the sport. Dion was a phenomenon this year. Alabama's number 2. Proven out yet again.
Time now for our play of the day. Trent, what do you have for us?
So much great college hoops last night. We had David predicting the Arkansas upset over Duke. Shout out to Florida Gulf Coast. The men got back on track. But we will go to our state capital at the Donald L. Tucker Civic Center, where the Seminoles have a 17-point lead. with 6.5 minutes to play, but the Georgia Bulldogs turned the Jets on, and we were tied at 66 in the final seconds. The Dogs went to their senior, Justin Hill.
Makes his move with about 8 seconds left to go. Melendez is out at the top of the key. Hill for the win. Got it! And the Georgia Bulldogs down 17 with 6.5 minutes left to go with an incredible comeback.
Bulldogs close on a 24-5 run, get the win in the ACC-SEC Challenge. Georgia over FSU, perhaps a college football playoff preview. And there you go.
See what he did there?
I see that.
That's kind of why I made it the play of the day, to be honest. It's a little bit
I like it.
You know,
I like it. You stayed in state. It's worthy. It's a game-winning shot with under 2 seconds to go.
You could hear the excitement in her voice.
I was going to say that was the one reason I was maybe not going to pick this one, because the call is just terrible. But yeah, what can you do?
All right. So it's our play of the day. Bad loss for Florida State. After
That's a
they
really
just
bad
had
loss.
a couple of really good wins. They're trying to get back in the tournament. A lot of people think Leonard Hamilton has to get back in the tournament to keep his job. They think he's 74. So it's a bad loss at home.
It really is.
Good win for FGCU.
Yes. Down 15 at the half yet again, but they rose up. They played some defense. FIU had 2 wide open threes to tie it at the buzzer and missed them both.
Miller and Moulton. Roy Cummings.
Yeah.
Talk a little Bucs.
Yeah.
We'll do that next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Canes had a good day yesterday.
Mario can recruit.
Yeah.
We don't think he can coach. Greg McElroy with a great response on Twitter. So he's honked off Alabama fans because he thinks Florida State should be in. And He said, so you're mad that I think, in fact, I'll just read it. You're mad because I think FSU should be in regardless of their quarterback injury. Okay, and this one Alabama fan suggests that we won a natty in 2009 in spite of me. So do you need a quarterback to win a natty? If yes, then I must have helped in 09. If no, then Florida State's quarterback injury shouldn't matter. You decide. Doop.
So don't you think the committee right now has everything mapped out exactly how they want it, like scenarios in their head? Like they've got everything written down, right? If this team loses, here's what we're doing.
No.
If this, you don't think so?
No.
You think they're actually going to base it off championship weekend? I mean, I know they have to an extent. I'm saying like the style points.
I don't know how much they do every week when they're there. I think this is the only one that matters.
I just don't know if the style points are going to matter like we think. You know, even if I don't know.
I think FSU is vulnerable. I'm sorry.
By the way, Deadstruck, it's a 4-star defensive tackle. It's a kid from near Chicago. He had committed to Ohio State. He flipped his commitment. Justin Scott.
Oh, and I had read he was a 5-star, so I'm sorry.
Well, I will say I'm surprised he's not. The ESPN story described him as a 4-star, yet he's number 36 in their ESPN 300. That seems pretty good to me. So 5-star. Apparently, he's the 4th best defensive tackle in the according to ESPN in their thing. So.
Hi, Roy.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Better than the Bucs.
Yeah, you got that right. Trying to find my volume here so I can hear you guys better. Whoops.
You're a little biased here, but Andre Dawson, an Expo or a Cub?
Hey, I love the fact that he wants to wear the Cubs hat. Personally, I always thought of him as an Expo. But
11 years in 11 years in Montreal, 6 in Chicago, but he won his MVP with the Cubs.
That's right. You got that right.
Listen to Roy. Listen to it. His voice, chest popping out.
I don't know that he had his best. Well, yeah, but you could argue he had his best years in Chicago. I mean, he became a star in Montreal, so that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm trying to find the volume on this computer.
You're fine. He sounds fine.
Oh, okay. You can hear me. I'm not hearing you as well. Maybe I can find it somewhere. I'll hear you somehow.
Mark, do you think there's any chance that Verlander goes in as a Tiger? Or is he going in as an Astro with the 2 World Series rings?
Oh, no. He'll go in as a Tiger.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I hope you're right.
I do too. If I told you, I've told you guys that before, my feeling on that.
No.
Imagine if the Tigers had just held on to Max Scherzer
and
Verlander.
Oh,
I understand the money, but you know what? It's just money.
Yeah, they found that out with Miggy.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah,
but
they
definitely had all 3.
Oh, that team underachieved.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And at 22 minutes before the hour, on this final day of November, we welcome Roy Cummings back into the show. R. Cummings, FHCN is how you follow him on Twix, Twitter/X. He's been covering the Bucs for a long time. And, well, you've covered a stretch like this before. It's just been a while where they've lost 6 of 7. Don't we have to now come to the conclusion that they're a bad team?
Yeah. I hesitate to say that because I I don't categorize them as bad. I categorize them as mediocre, that's bad. But yeah, I mean, that's who they are. They have defined themselves as an underachiever, I think, for the talent that they have. Look, you've got one of the better defensive minds in the game as your head coach, and the defense has just all kinds of holes in it. And boy, oh boy, do teams take advantage of those holes. You have to blitz in order to get to the quarterback. That's an issue. They really don't run the ball all that well, except Rachaad White, 100 yards last week, 15 carries. It's doable. And you know what? They just find a way to lose, and that's pretty much the definition of a bad team. I think Baker Mayfield's arguably their best player and has been most of the season. If he has, a game where he's not like on it 100% or 98% of the time, like last week, they end up losing. Well, yeah, bad team.
And, Baker's hurt. He's more than likely going to play. But, Roy, is there any part of you that says, do we just put Kyle Trask in at this point, or because they're so close to winning the division, you can't do it?
Yeah, I think you owe it to Baker Mayfield to play him if he's healthy enough to play. And you know what? He came off of the ankle injury and came back and played pretty darn well last week. He gave him a chance, which is all you really ask your quarterback to do, give you a chance. And he did that. And so I don't know that you need to see Kyle Trask. You need to see more of Baker Mayfield. And you need to decide now, is he your guy going forward? Because you know what? You can end up, with a lottery pick here, so to speak, and the way things are going. And so, look, it's still so close. The schedule is favorable. You've lost a couple of games that you should have won, but it's correctable. There's enough time left and enough games left, and the schedule is favorable enough that this can be corrected. They found the running game, it seems, a little bit. Now they got to cure some of the ills with the defense, because to me that's become the biggest issue. Is there's big holes there.
Yeah, and what's going on with that? They've invested heavily in their defensive line in the draft in recent years. They just picked the wrong players. Is Levante David and Devin White not as good as they were a year or two ago? That's the second level of the defense. And then, they've spent a lot of mid-round picks on that secondary. I like a lot of those guys individually, but Roy, teams lately have done pretty much whatever they've wanted offensively against the Bucs. That was not supposed to happen.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened with with particularly against the run. Look, I like the guys in the secondary too. And I think for the most part, they've played up to their capabilities. Anton Winfield's an all-pro in my game, or in my book. I think he's tremendous. And I think you've got other talent around him. You were without Levante David last week. That obviously hurt them on some occasions, but it's not the first time. Even when Levante David has been there, they've been gouged against the run a little bit. They're not that team anymore that you just say, okay, you can't run against these guys, even up the middle. You can run against them. And that's an issue. And I don't know, I hate to say it, but I'm not sure what the solution is, because you're not changing out any of the guys up front. You love what Kalijah Cansey's doing for you for the most part. I mean, he's in the backfield making plays sometimes, most often. Vita Vea's not going anywhere, but they just, I don't know, they somehow got to tighten the screws against the run, because that's where they're being hurt the most. When you give up, it's okay to give up 3-4 yards. When you're giving up 6-8 yards and 12 yards on carries, which is what they're doing, you just can't do that. And a lot of third downs. So yeah, it's got to come on the defensive side. That's the area that needs fixing. And again, you think you've got the coach in place who can fix it. Maybe you don't have the personnel.
Well, I've just listened to the two of you talk about the personnel with pretty high regard. Are we sure it's not the coach, Roy? I mean, I know Todd Bowles is supposed to be this great defensive mind, and maybe the mind's there, but they're not buying it. I mean, at some point, we got to look back at what's going on with the coaching of this football team.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think you're absolutely right. Look, you do get the feeling that Todd Bowles is a bit of a one-trick pony, that he's figured out better ways to blitz than anybody else. But when it comes to anything else, he's just not that solid at it. And you lose one key piece or put in one young rookie like Elijah Cansey, and all of a sudden teams are gouging him against the run. With the running game, that to me is a problem. And again, when I praise the talent, what I'm praising is I think there's just a great future for a lot of these young guys. I still believe in Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. There's certainly nothing wrong with Shaq Barrett. We love Vita Vea. I love Kalijah Cansey. I think those guys are solid, and I think everybody around them is pretty good. The linebacking core I still think is one of the best there is in football. But something's not right. I don't know if it's just too much of a focus on stopping the pass and getting after the quarterback because something's not right, and they got to figure it out. And you know what? If they don't figure it out, just before you asked me that question, Mark, I'm thinking to myself, this could be the thing that gets Todd Bowles fired. Not that they go, 6-11 or anything like that. It could be the fact that if he can't fix the defense, well, then why is he here? Because I don't think he's a great head coach. He's a defensive coordinator more than anything.
He's Roy Cummings. He covers the Bucs. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. All right. So if you're running the Bucs, you're a game out of first. You're also picking 7th right now in the draft. So what is this team, if you know what I mean? What are you emphasizing right now if you're running the Bucs? Because I got to be honest, Roy, I'm now thinking about picking 7th.
Yeah, but I don't think Jason Light is, because Jason Light never cares about where he is. He lets the draft, well, I wouldn't say he lets it come to him because he goes after it pretty hard himself, but he's never worried about where he is, whether it's 7, 14, 21, 2, 1. He's going to take the best player there or go get the player he wants. He'll figure out a way to make that draft work, especially in the first 2-3 rounds. I think he's better than most GMs at doing that. I think he's underrated in that regard. I don't think he's received enough credit for what he's done in that regard. But at the same time, and when you look at the team, I'm sorry, but the whole division is exactly what we thought it would be. Horrible. Mediocre. a below 500 team, 8-9 should win this division. If you win 9, you should win it by 2 games going away. But 8-9 could win this division, and you're not that far away. You can do it. It can be done. You just have to correct a few things that we thought were strengths going into the season. The defensive side in particular. I think they figured out the running game. Now, if Aaron Stinney can play a little bit better than he did last week, it'll probably be even better because I don't think they want to change him out, but he's got to avoid the holding calls. But look, here's the other surprise. Maybe they win last week, maybe, if Tristan Wirfs doesn't give up his second, sack. That guy's been exceptional over on the left side. And I was not in favor of that move. But Tristan Wirfs has only given up 2 sacks. One of them came at just the worst possible time last week, and that was the end of it. But if he holds up on that one play, who knows? Maybe they get down there and they make it and they pull that victory out. But again, they shouldn't have been in that position. The defense has got to be better, especially against a team like Indianapolis.
And they'll have to be better this week. It's Carolina. New coach. Everybody blown out. When it happened in Vegas, they won a couple of games. Vegas looked at the point spread and quickly moved it from the Bucs as a 5.5-point favorite to a 4.5-point favorite, just with the firing of a coach, thinking that something may happen. Your level of concern with Carolina because of what transpired this week in Carolina, Roy.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of rallying around the new coach. Look, it's a mess in Carolina. It's an absolute mess. But you know what? When you get a bunch of pros together and they decide to, put their heads together and go after something, they'll figure it out. And, I could see that happening. But again, this is one of those games where the Bucs are the better team. They've got the better quarterback. They've got better talent. They should win this game. They should win it handily. They need to win it handily because this is a game where you can develop some confidence. Okay, it's only Carolina. if you win by 30 points, which that's gonna ask a lot, but it's doable. If you win big against Carolina, that should cure a lot of ills. It should show you that, okay, guys, we figured it out, which is what they got to do. This is a great opportunity to figure it out and develop some confidence, because confidence goes a long way.
And 2 of their final 6 are against Carolina. They also have Atlanta and New Orleans still on the schedule. If you play the schedule game, there's 4 division games. If by chance you win them all, that's 8 wins. You'll have a 5-1 division record. You're probably, unless somebody gets to 9, which we don't think they will, you've probably just won the NFC South for the 3rd year in a row. And so I guess that's another thing, because if they win this week, they go to Atlanta, where quite frankly, they know, hey, if we win, worst we're going to be is tied for first.
Yeah. I think you have to play the schedule game with them because, look, you were playing the schedule game with them from the very beginning. All along, we thought, okay, you got 8 games against these division opponents, and that's going to decide it right there. That's really going to decide it. And if you can win a couple of others that you shouldn't, you're going to be just fine. So I don't think anything has changed in that regard. All that has changed here with this football team, in my opinion, is that the defense has become a lot more vulnerable than I thought it would. I thought this team, look, one of the reasons they were so good against the run was because teams had to pass against them to try to catch up when Tom Brady was the quarterback, for the most part, because the Bucs were always ahead. So you don't run the ball as often when you're behind. And I thought that the numbers were always a bit skewed. I always thought they were a little bit more vulnerable to the run than they showed. Now it's showing. And again, it goes back to the question that was asked earlier. Does this say something about the head coach? And I think it does. So to me, that's the biggest thing right now. The season is salvageable. The division is there for you to take. It's up to you to go win the games. Can the defense hold? Can the defense hold? If it can't, then I think you got to make a change at the top.
He's Roy Cummings. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. And he joins us weekly at this time or around this time to talk about the team he covers, the Tampa Bay Bucs. Roy, very quickly, you're a Cubs homer. Andre Dawson, Expo or Cub?
You know what? Even though I loved him as a Cub and praised him from the bleachers many times, bowed down to him, I always thought of him as an Expo.
Okay.
I mean, to me, he is the quintessential Expo, him and Tim Raines. And if I'm an Expos fan, I'd be really disappointed if he didn't wear that cap for the Hall of Fame. But as a Cubs fan, boy, would I love to see that. Would I love to see that. I would love to see that number hanging from the flagpole in right field.
Roy Cummings joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. All the best, Roy. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
And if you don't know, Andre Dawson is in the Hall as an Expo, but he has petitioned the Hall of Fame yet again to change the hat on his plaque. He wants to be a Cub.
Why would you want to be with a team that doesn't exist anymore? I think that's part of it. I think you want to have your legacy be with a team that still plays.
I hear you. You wonder if there's capitalism involved here.
I would think so.
Okay. I mean, Dave Winfield basically put his hat up for bid. I mean, he did. Most people think of Winfield as a Yankee, played 10 years there. I think Winfield's in as a Padre.
Right.
And because of it, the Hall changed their rules. They said, okay, from now on, we're going to decide. We're not going to let you guys decide. We're going to decide. Sorry, you screwed things up. Because there are a lot of people who don't even know, wait, Dave Winfield played for the Padres? Yeah, it's where he started before he went to the Yankees. Yeah.
So it's time to go racing.
Well, or at least talk about the money.
We follow that on this show.
You know what? One of our better decisions.
Adam Stern covers motorsports for the Sports Business Journal. He's next on Miller and Moulton.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again,
Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone, on 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
That is one and the same, Minty. That was knocked out in the first show. He has his torch in the background.
He also covers motorsports. Well, I mean, he covers motorsports. He also covers fighting.
Yeah,
My bad.
I had that on there. I just didn't say it because...
No, I just meant, just didn't know if there was something you wanted to bring up. But what's interesting, and I just saw this last night, I didn't realize financially the Vegas F1 race did as well as it did. Apparently, they've never made more money at a track for a race ever. It was the highest grossing weekend for us in this was a hotel, MGM Resorts. Highest grossing weekend for us in hotel revenue in the company's history. Huh.
Dang. Nice sequence. The play 4 was Iowa, North Florida. North Florida kid steals the ball, gets his layup blocked. Guy gets a rebound for North Florida, goes up. Same guy blocks that. Third guy from North Florida gets the rebound. Same guy blocks that. He had 3 blocks in like 6 seconds. Right. Look at Queens College being on the top plays.
There we go.
Well, A-Sun Love.
Wow, between North Florida and Queens.
Right.
Hey, Finn's Brett. Thanks for finding us. Same with Minty.
You know, it really sums up this show in a hurry. You got to call him, remember, Trent. We have an Emmy in one pitcher. We have old football cards in the other.
But we also have blank walls, though, basically. They're both, pretty. My head's just too big. Because there's some woodworking.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network. Anyway, the Diamond District bonus hour is 1 hour from now. This is the hour, though, where we begin to take your fantasy football questions. Because the doctor's making a house call. Dr. Roto scheduled to join us in about 35 minutes' time. So whether it's the text line at 21,000, or if you're watching us on the Miller and Moulton Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, you can chime in with your question in the Twitch chat room.
And for those of you that have our personal phone numbers, feel free to text those as well with your fantasy football question.
I have to admit, I haven't gotten a trivia phone call yet in 2023.
That's because they can get the answer on their phone.
I understand, but I don't know what to tell you. Our listeners, they're out, they're having a couple pops, all of a sudden they decide, so I just haven't gotten a phone call this year. I don't know if that's progress or if I'm sad. I'm just.
You like them deep down.
I do. I don't know. I've always I would have been a decent politician in this sense. I like pressing the flesh. I have no problems catching grief. Somebody can just say, you suck. Okay. I don't know if you're wrong. So yeah, I like it when, the texts and, I like the contact.
Absolutely. And I, like I said earlier in the show, I always get it on Dr. Roto Day. They know my number if they're in a fantasy league, and occasionally I get the direct line question to Dr. Roto. But 21,000 is the text line, 21-000. If you've never texted the show before, you need to text the keyword FSN Radio, FSN Radio. Text that in one time, and then you are behind the green door and can text to your heart's content whenever you would like. But get your fantasy questions in for Dr. Roto. That coming up in a little less than 40 minutes time.
Do we give the Seahawks a shot tonight, or do we just think this is a foregone conclusion? I say that because a couple years ago, Joe and Troy were still with Fox, and Arizona came staggering into a game in Dallas, much like Seattle's staggering in right now. And Kyler Murray single-handedly won a game for the Cardinals in Dallas against the Cowboys. He was just terrific. Got out of there with a W. They really needed it. They had lost like 3 of 4. Guess who's lost 3 of 4 heading into Dallas tonight? The Seahawks. You know, Geno Smith is not last year's Geno Smith. You know, but they've got a couple of wide receivers. I mean, you know, there's points with that offense.
I think it helps to have a Kenneth Walker in the offense, which he's not tonight. I do think that affects their team because he's pretty solid, helps the play action part of their game. But to your earlier point, I think this all comes, no one trusts them because Geno Smith this year has been the Geno Smith we all remember, not the Geno Smith of a year ago.
And I brought up Geno Smith also because we were just talking with Roy Cummings, and you could tell he likes Baker Mayfield. I think he would have no problem if the Bucs move forward with Baker Mayfield and worry about other things they have to deal with. Well, remember what Seattle was able to do after Geno had didn't he win Comeback Player of the Year last year? I mean, I think he did. You know, he came out of nowhere last year and had a Pro Bowl caliber year. He was really good. And they signed him to one of those, okay, we're going to give you a little bit of money here. Money you've never really made before. You were a second-round pick, and you've been a backup and a journeyman. We're going to give you like $35 million for the next year or so. But that's about all we're going to guarantee in this deal. We basically, if the clock strikes midnight on you, we could move away from you quickly. And that's what I'm wondering if you're Tampa Bay. Are you looking at Geno Smith and going, well, there's the really good Geno, and then he reverts back to being Geno Smith and, paying him 35 million, but are we going to commit to it for more than a year? Like, you're running the shot with Tampa Bay right now. Your thoughts at quarterback. What are you doing? You're picking 7th, by the way, in the draft.
I'm picking 7th?
I am.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to pick Jaden Daniels, and we're going to go on with him.
Oh, you're just music
so you know.
ears. Choose music to my ears.
He's going to be there at 7.
I want to hug you right now. I'm so happy. Golly. That's who I want to.
I'm drafting a quarterback. I'm firing Todd Bowles, and I'm drafting a quarterback because Todd Bowles can't coach. I mean, they're already coming out with the articles in the Tampa area that he's going to be replaced. If somehow they lose to Carolina on Sunday, he's done.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
But he's done Sunday night, what I mean done.
Oh, okay.
You lose to Carolina, you lose your job. Time to get rid of you. There's nothing you're doing here that's good if you lose to Carolina. That's how big this game is to me for Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles, to keep his job, has to do what you said, David, to Roy. He's got to run the rest of the division. And I don't think he can.
Okay. So now let me take it a step further. You're the ownership in Tampa Bay. You still committed to Jason Light? Before Tom Brady, he had a very mixed, not that great tenure as GM. And the thought that Bruce Arians basically saved his career. I mean, if Bruce Arians, who they went after, had said, yeah, I want to work with somebody else, they would have had somebody else. But Bruce actually really wanted to work with him. And obviously we all know what happened. And it really helped that a year into their relationship, Tom Brady decided he wanted to date him. That's a good 3 years.
It's a good way to save your job if you're a GM, to get a Tom Brady.
You're right. First you get a Bruce Arians, and then you get a Tom Brady.
That's job security.
That'll work. So, but now here we are. We're post Arians, we're post Brady. We're back to being the Bucs post Gruden, which is not good.
Which is more of the yucks.
Yeah, right. So now I will say, if I'm ownership, and we don't know what role, if any, ownership had, I don't think they had any. But if you're Jason Light, Mark, and we're role playing here, I would be saying to you, so you held on to Devin White and Mike Evans, huh? So now what are we going to do?
I think Jason Light's going to say, look where we are. We Look where we are in this division. This does not take anything to turn around. We're 2 players away from being in complete control of this division, being a playoff team, and reestablishing ourselves as the best team in the NFC South. That's what I think he'd try to sell. Now, how you sell that with needing a new coach is difficult.
Yeah, I would go, if you mention the NFC South one more time, you're fired. Because if that's the standard that you're holding this team to, no offense, we need to aim higher. This is the worst division in the league. And that's the standard that you're holding us to? We ain't never going to be good if that's the only standard you're holding us to. So you need to remove that from your vocabulary if you want to keep working here. That's what I would say in my charming way.
And you are a charmer.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
But the thing that Light's going to have to sell, sorry, David, but I think he's going to have to sell is how do you get a new coach and keep your job? How do you admit to making the wrong decision at head coach and keep your job?
Well, you were the GM that won him a Super Bowl. There's only one other guy that's done that. I mean, you can't say we did just go to the playoffs 3 years in a row. Only happened one other time in franchise history. We knew this was going to be a transition year. Didn't quite transition as well as we thought, but we can turn this around.
It is a point, David, and I wouldn't be able to say it nearly as charming as you. When you told me aiming for the NFC South, I could look right back at the owners and say, really? With your record, you want better goals than that. You were the worst franchise in North American pro sports when I got here. I got a Super Bowl, 3 consecutive playoff appearances. Yeah, I want to win divisions. To give you what? A home playoff game so you can make more money. Yeah, that's my first goal. Every year is to win this division. That's my job. We'd have a really nice conversation going back and forth that way. I mean, I'd be fired to be back in my desk, and you'd feel really good about yourself. And an hour later, you'd go, you made a couple of good points.
I was going to say, before you left the office, I'd be like, well, that is a dadgum good point.
You're still fired. But
well, no. I might say, let's just hold off on the firing. Let's continue this conversation. So what do you want to do going forward? See, here's the problem. Take Mike Evans off this team. Take Devin White off this team, because that's what's going to happen. Now tell me how you like this roster. That's why, another reason why I think we got to emphasize the picking 7th in the draft. And everybody knows, if they've listened to the show throughout the football season, it was why I was pounding the table to trade Mike Evans and Devin White. I just... it wasn't going to impress me. Second year in a row, we managed to go 8-9 and win the worst division in the league again. I'm sorry, we're going nowhere. Honestly, we're a treadmill and we can't even reach the end. We're just, so that's, and now I'm like, great, we're going to get compensatory picks, 1 in the 3rd round, maybe 2 compensatory 3rd round draft picks in the 2025 draft. Great. I'm going to get picks 99 and 100 for losing Mike Evans and Devin White. Fantastic. That's great. I have a feeling I might not be even making those draft picks at this rate.
It is why they need to look at compensatory picks if they want the NFL to be a trade league. Because that's why they weren't dealt. I can keep them. I can win the division. I go to the playoffs. I'm going to get a 3rd if I lose them. And what are you offering me to get them? And there weren't, we don't know what offers were, if there was anything out there. But it is something I think the league needs to look at if they want more trades.
Could you imagine Mike Evans on the Chiefs? Some Twitch chat room, somebody said Minty is his name. He said, imagine Mike Evans on the Jets next year. Mike Evans, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall. I mean, worst offensive line in the league, but Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, I called him 4 times. I know it was the right number because his answering machine said, "Hey, this is Adam," but it was full. So,
all right, thank you.
SOL. Do you play this immaculate grid game, Mark?
No. Moulton should be good for him.
It's
Are you into it?
Yeah, I love it. I do it every day.
Yeah, we know about the Texas thing, but remember, he went to A&M. A&M's actually closer to Houston than Dallas. So what about if the Texans add Mike Evans? But I will say at this stage, if you're Mike Evans, you got to go where the money is. This is your last contract.
Just a banana there?
Just a banana. Normal breakfast food this morning. I had a breakfast bar earlier. Now a banana. We're going normal this morning. It's very boring. It sucks. No tuna mac. Don't have any made.
Took the headsets off. Trent said he called him 4 times. Voicemail was full. It was the right voicemail because it had his name and all that. So,
great.
It's for what it's worth.
Just letting you know.
I saw Felipe yesterday.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Oh, that's right.
He earned $50 in 10, 15 minutes.
Hell. It's kind of like working on Miller and Moulton.
Got his girlfriend a cat for Christmas.
Wow. That's quite the
That's one step away from a ring.
That is. You bought her
That's
a cat.
yeah. That's
A living thing.
yeah. That's being very domestic. That's no. That's Trent. So I'm engaged to my now wife, and I'm in North Dakota, and she's in upstate New York, and she calls me up. And because I figure for a couple of reasons that she's going to stay in upstate New York until we get married. And she calls me up like 8 months before our wedding date and is like, yeah, I can't wait any longer. I want to move out there. Now, besides the fact that she's a minister's daughter and this is going over really well at home, she goes, I just have one condition. And I go, you have a condition? She goes, yes, I have a condition. I go, but okay. And she goes, I got to have a cat. I'm like, excuse me? She goes, yeah, I got to have a cat.
Deal breaker.
And I'm like, okay, that's it? That's the only thing that's going to prevent us from living together, huh? Is a cat?
Did you get the cat?
Hell, do you want 3? I mean, I'm out in Fargo by myself. We're about ready to go into winter. Okay. I'd buy you a polar bear if you wanted. So, yeah.
Second polar bear reference of the day.
She let me name the cat, though. Big mistake.
What'd you name it?
Well, the Rangers had just won the Cup like a year earlier, so the cat's name was Ranger.
That's not a bad name.
Got it from a rescue because, my wife get everything from a rescue. Cat lived to be 18.
That's what cats do, by the way.
Yeah, it's apparently.
That's why when my mom keeps saying she wants to get a cat, I keep going, no.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. College football regular season's over. Championship weekend begins tomorrow with a couple of conference championship games. Mark, you noticed something. You paid a little more attention to the talking head shows yesterday, radio and television, than I did. And you said that you noticed a definite theme emerging.
Oh, they are starting to lay the groundwork for why Florida State should not be in the college football playoff.
And by they, who are we talking about?
4-letter network. Herb Street was on a Barstool podcast. I don't know which one because I don't listen to a lot of them. But he said it. Herbie wants the 4 best teams and basically saying they're not one of the 4 best teams.
He's always been a eye test guy. He really has. This goes all the way back. People just like him. They do. They like him. He's likable.
He's likable. He's a good-looking guy. He's got a good smile. I mean, the whole thing. To me, he is to me. And not to mention, women love him. I mean,
yes, for obvious reasons, and they don't listen to what he says because he has said some things that should have fan bases never liking him again. Like, it's amazing to me he's Mr. SEC now. And it's so ironic that they're the, home of the SEC and will be officially here real soon because they pounded the table for years for the Big Ten at the expense of the SEC. When the SEC was beginning to take over the college football world, and they were like, the hell they are. Who should go? The Big Ten.
Right.
Okay.
That show was all Big Ten.
Right. Yes, it is. Although Reese Davis is an Alabama alum. But he keeps that quiet.
Right, but I say was.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Because pre-Reese, when this was going on, Fowler didn't have any loyalty to one
Anywhere.
conference or another.
No, I think he's a Colorado guy.
Yeah.
And obviously, where Herb Street played quarterback and where Desmond played wide receiver. Yeah. Now they work David Pollock in, obviously, their SEC guy and what have you. But so now it's Florida State, huh? I mean, how are they going to reconcile that when Florida State's in the SEC here in a couple of years?
Well, then it will be different, David. They'll be in the SEC.
Right. It's like you stick it to Texas this year. No, next year. No, it'd be you. No, next year it'd be you. Head-to-head means everything. Come on. This year, not resume. Resume. Boy, that word best. That's. I will say, if you read it says 4 best teams. It's kind of like the Second Amendment, but I won't go there. It says
Please don't go there.
No, I won't. It says 4 best teams, but then it's a dash based on. But up. Okay, and then when everybody
in lieu of. Sorry,
exactly,
I couldn't help it.
And when everybody says 4 best teams, they give the impression that, well, what's Vegas say who'd be favored over who? And I've watched them play, and then so-and-so is better. Really? Okay. How many had TCU in the semis last year? I know it doesn't happen, but come on now. I mean, isn't the season supposed to count for something?
Well, apparently not, David. It might as well be the preseason. All that matters is the postseason, and that's where we have to make sure we pick the 4 best teams to what people want, damned what their resume says.
Here's another thing, by the way. And I know going forward, the conference champion of a power conference will get an automatic spot, but I mean, if they really don't want a 13-0 potentially ACC champion to be in the playoff, well, how hard are they going to push going forward for the ACC and the Big 12 to get a second team in the playoff after their champion? I mean, I don't think they're going to be pushing very hard, right?
No, it's going to take, a couple of teams with 1 loss for an ACC in a Big 12 to get 2 out of the 12. It would have taken Louisville to win last week, beat Florida State, and then maybe they both get in.
Here's the other thing that I would argue. If those that want to bring up the point spread, do you know how big of a favorite Florida State was over Oklahoma in the 2000 BCS championship game? Yeah, look it up. It was double digits. Do you know how big of a favorite Miami was over Ohio State in the 2002 BCS title game? Yeah, look it up. It was double digits. Don't give me the point spreads. Okay? They're building more and more casinos all the time because bettors bet the favorites, and yet the house keeps winning. Don't go the point spread argument. Don't do that. Don't. You want to do a resume argument? You could do it. You could just say, come on, can we take a hard look at the ACC this year? This is the worst Clemson team in 10 years. And we go right down the line. North Carolina turned out to be paper mache. Oh, Miami, 7-5. I know if you want to attack the ACC, I got no problems with that. Don't give me the point spread. Don't tell me so-and-so's better. Why? Oh, I know. You don't know squat. Want to attack the resume? You could even attack the LSU win and go, what are they, the 4th, 5th best team in the SEC? Turned out overhyped, maybe? I mean, how good of a win is it really? If you want to go after Florida State, go after them that way. Pick that schedule apart like a leftover turkey on Thanksgiving night.
But be prepared then for your schedules to be picked apart.
Yes.
For Michigan's schedule to be picked apart. For Georgia's schedule to be picked out a little bit. The thing that I don't like more than picking on Florida State is the fact that week 2 apparently doesn't matter. I mean, that's the other thing now.
Not much.
That's the most frustrating thing of this whole thing. And you guys have been on it the whole time, so credit to you guys, but no one's giving Texas any love. It's the hypocrisy is insane.
Well, what is interesting is that not every, there are a lot of college fans that are not pro football fans, but you've got to be a pro sports fan a little bit, right? It is amazing, Mark. In pro sports, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head in every major pro sport. That's the first tiebreaker. In college football, it's the fourth, apparently, according to the playoff committee. That's a pretty fascinating dichotomy right there. That shows you just how, listen, we obviously love college football, but it's pretty quirky. You got to admit. In fact, it might be bat blank crazy.
It's why I'm not as bothered with 12 as maybe you are at times, because at least I'm not concerned with the argument over Penn State or Missouri, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's 12 teams in the field. You can't complain if you're 13. You just weren't good enough. 4, there's so much room for.
But this is the first year we've really had this, that we've been this competitive at the top.
You got to go back to 2014 when it was Baylor, TCU, and Ohio State for the last spot. We very rarely do we have more than 4 teams for 4 spots. Most years we've had 3 teams, and we're trying to find the 4th. Get your questions ready. Dr. Roto, fantasy next.
Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other.
That would have
vast selection of certified diamonds, priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh, here we go. Fire away. Is Georgia a lock? No. No. I can see a scenario where they're 5. I mean, let's just say that's the only upset. So Michigan wins. Whoever wins the Pac-12 title game. Florida State wins. Bama wins. Where's Georgia? You going to put 12-1 Georgia over 13-0 Florida State? Some may want to.
The question is, if Oregon wins, could they take Alabama and Georgia and leave Oregon out?
Oregon's win over Washington's a better win than anything Georgia has.
David, I agree. I'm just.
See, I have to admit, a lot of people love Oregon. A lot of people think Oregon's like in play for the national championship.
Well, I think it's the Bo Nix factor, a lot of it.
And so I think the Pac-12 champion's in. I do. I think the winner of that game is in. You know why, Mr. Butte? I'll tell you why. We referenced it last hour. Let's go back to the ratings. Do you know what the second highest rated football game of the year was this year? Colorado at Oregon. Do you remember how that game went? Oregon kicked the out of Colorado. And the Dion phenomenon here is amazing. Week 2, Nebraska, Colorado, 11th highest rated game of the year, 8.7 million. Week 3, ESPN, Colorado State, Colorado, 10 o'clock at night on cable, 5th highest rated game of the year.
That's crazy. Did you see Michigan State, Arizona did over 5? I mean, it was after Thanksgiving, but it did over 5 million viewers while the Cowboys were going on.
The basketball, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell, even the women's game that followed it from 6 to 8 did over 1 million. Highest rated women's basketball game in the regular season, and I think since the pandemic. All right, get your fantasy questions in, baby.
He's on the line. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It's that time. The doctor makes his weekly house call. Dr. Roto, Sirius XM's Fantasy Sports Radio, weekend mornings, I should say. Weekend mornings during the football season. drroto.com, drroto.com, and that's how you follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Dr. Roto, DRROTO. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Well, we'd like a few more injured quarterbacks, I think, so we could really pick up the level of play in this league.
Oh, yeah, and have 6 guys on bye, 6 teams on bye on top of that. So this should be a really high octane week.
There is no doubt. I'll start right there, Doc. What do you do at the quarterback position? Is there someone that you're looking at to stream? Like, I'm in a spot. I've got Stafford and Geno Smith. I don't want to play either of them, but there's not a whole lot on the waiver wire to pick up.
Well, I mean, some of the names I do like. Don't laugh now. I like Kenny Pickett against Arizona. I think he should have a good game. I'm fine with Baker Mayfield. I'm fine with Derek Carr. I'm fine with Russell Wilson. And if you believe in the let me fire my coach so that they can free me to play football the way I want to, the Bryce Young narrative exists as well.
Whew. Wow.
And by the way, can I just say this on air? They never should have hired Frank Reich. All the players, and David, you know this well, they all went to the owner and said, we want Steve Wilks. And he basically said, yeah, I want my guy. And this is what he got, a disaster.
Yeah, I think Steve Wilks, who's now the defensive coordinator of the Niners, is laughing hysterically. I know he's got a big game this weekend, but deep down on the inside, I think he's laughing hysterically. All right. All Risk in the Twitch chat room wants to know, A-Chain, I know that's not how you pronounce it, but I just like it, or Bijan Robinson?
Well, I mean, look, All Risk, I appreciate that with the Chan, but I think you have to go with Bijan. I know he's got a disgusting matchup against the Jets. I get that. But look, Chan could play. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he gets 5 carries. Maybe he gets 15. I love Risk. I'm all about Risk, but that's a little too much risk. So I think I'm going to take Bijan Robinson and hope he gets his 15 points. It looks like they're starting to use him in the way that we've been hoping.
All right, another Robinson question. Bijan Robinson, Rashad White, Isaiah Pacheco, sit one.
Well, I'm not sitting Rashad White, but I will tell you that I don't know if you guys watched it closely. They had the ball on the 1-yard line how many times last week? And they didn't give it to Rashad White once? Not once? I mean, it was comical. Like, here, let me give it to the ball boy. Oh, the trainer needs a carry. I mean, you have Rashad White back there. You're on the 1-yard line. Block for the guy and let him run. This is not hard. They were in 3rd and 6 situations because they couldn't get 1 yard. So I'm going to hope that corrects itself this week. You don't bench Pacheco. You just don't. I mean, not against Green Bay. I think he probably scores another time.
Half-point PPR, Moss or Swift?
Well, I mean, look, the thing here is, so let's just talk a little DFS because I know Mark's going to ask me. On DraftKings, Moss is the free square of the week. You play him. You don't have any choices, right? I mean, the price is right. The opportunity is there. Is he going to be 60% rostered by everybody? Yes. I mean, I guess you can fade him if you want to, but I don't think it makes a lot of sense. That said, I think he's in a situation where he probably should get about 14 points, but Tennessee, as we know, is a good run defense, but Moss can do a little bit of everything. I do like Swift. I like that game. I think that game blows up. I mean, if any game has the chance this week of being last week's Buffalo-Philadelphia game, it's this game. So I think I'm going to play Swift, but I mean, I totally understand why you would play Moss. I think in seasonal, I'm going to play Swift. In DFS, I'm obviously going to play Moss.
Got a question on tight ends. They have picked up McBride. He's banged up. What are you thinking about for streaming tight ends this week, or do you have to wait and see with McBride's injury?
Yeah, so let's be really clear. Most players, you'll find out their designation tomorrow about 5 o'clock. Then there'll be some guys who will be game time decisions. And so some coaches are like, well, if you don't practice on Friday, you're not playing. Yeah, but I don't think you're doing that with Trey McBride because he's your best receiver. So my guess is you're going to wait till the Adam Schefter tweet comes out, which will either be sometime late Saturday or early Sunday morning. I'm planning on McBride playing, so I think we go with that. I will give everybody a name. I mean, it's really, tight end is really brutal right now. But I think you could look at 2 people. One, I think you can look at Juwan Johnson against Detroit. And then the other guy that I'm looking at is actually Tucker Kraft against Kansas City. Tucker Kraft was a 3rd-round pick. They picked Luke Musgrave in round 2, and then they came back and took Tucker Kraft in round 3. So obviously, Green Bay likes him, and Musgrave is on the IR.
Minty wants to know Garrett Wilson or Puka.
Yeah, I don't. That actually is really tough because I kind of hate both guys. I mean, Tim Boyle will make you hate anybody, right? But Puka Nacua is in a bad matchup against Cleveland. Cleveland plays a ton of man-to-man, man coverage. Puka thrives more in zone coverage. So I don't know. Honestly, this has flip a coin written all over it because Garrett Wilson's going to see plenty of A.J. Terrell. Maybe I'll take Wilson and hope that he makes a play.
Flex spot, Brendan Cooks, D-Hop, or Brian Robinson?
Well, look, Cooks has played a lot better, but the Seattle secondary is pretty good. So I think we're going to take him off the table for right now. Hopkins is in a great matchup. I mean, Indianapolis has been very generous to opposing number one receivers, except that Will Levis just hasn't been great. But I'm not against that. Brian Robinson, look, Miami is susceptible to the run. I think that game either turns out to be a little bit of Washington trying to establish the run. If not, it becomes a track meet. If it's a track meet and Antonio Gibson's out, I don't love Brian Robinson. So I think I'll take my shot on Hopkins.
T. Haynes wants to know Devin Singletary or Gus Edwards.
So here's the deal. Well, Gus Edwards is unbiased, so you're not playing Gus. How about that?
That makes that easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best answer I gave you all morning.
There you go, T. Haynes. That's a lock, T. Haynes, a lock.
Downs, Ridley, or Kirk at wide receiver is the question.
Ooh. Look, Ridley's starting to pick up the game. Jacksonville is starting to, Lawrence is starting to play a little better. He scored a couple weeks in a row. I'm going to ride the Ridley train for right now.
Another, team on a bye, the Ravens. And so Deadstruck has a question. They're my defense. Where do I go for a defense? He's thinking Atlanta against the Jets.
I'm thinking that's a really great idea. I can't imagine that Boyle doesn't get sacked once, throw a pick, and maybe there's a fumble. Now, Atlanta is not an aggressive defense, but they've got a good secondary. Jesse Bates, Richie Grant, they're always in the right spot. I mean, I would think one interception, probably two, makes a lot of sense this week.
By the way, Bates, the Bengals miss him. I mean, Burrow obviously was a season, what have you, but Bates was a leader on that defense and a very good player. And the Bengals are cheap, and they lost him, and they miss him.
Well, I agree with you 100%, but they also have these young receivers that they have to pay and Burrow. So it was almost like if I have to pay Chase and I have to pay Higgins and I have to pay Burrow, I can't play Bates. But I agree. I think if there was one person in that entire defense, two people, Logan Wilson and Jesse Bates should have gotten paid.
Who do I start? C.J. Stroud or Jalen Hurts?
I am going to start Jalen Hurts because I think you get the rushing touchdowns like you saw last week, even if he's not 100%. I think he's going to be flush from the pocket a decent amount. I like C.J. Stroud. I think that game is going to be shockingly good. Denver against Houston is going to be a shockingly good game. I mean, the problem with Denver fantasy-wise is they don't have the one guy you're looking to hang your hat on. Russ hasn't been great. He's been okay. Cortland Sutton probably is the closest thing to that guy. But, the team has played much better. The defense has played better. So I think that'll be an interesting game to watch. But, I mean, give me all the Hurts I can get.
That's a huge game because they are tied for the final playoff spot. Technically, Houston and Denver are the 8th and 9th seeds right now, losing out in a tiebreaker to the Colts. So you could see where that could be a wild card tiebreaker in 4 or 5 weeks. Canada Relief's in a season-long league, and he's wondering, do I trade DK Metcalf for a first-rounder next year?
So it's funny somebody asked that because my son has Metcalf too. And so here's the answer to this question. Give me 1 second. I want to look it up because I don't want to make a mistake here for anybody. So after this week's game, which is really hard, they play the 49ers, the Eagles, Tennessee, and Pittsburgh. It's pretty good matchups. This week is a bad matchup. My son needed to win this week in his league or he was out. So he traded Metcalf, and I don't blame him for it because if he was going to lose, it's over. If you can hold him, I don't think it's the worst idea. But if I can get a first-round pick in the league for him, I'd probably take that, considering my biggest problem with Seattle is not Metcalf. It's Geno Smith. Geno Smith is the player, sadly, that we thought he was. He just hasn't been great this year. I mean, and so I don't want to blame everything on Geno, but you've got Jackson Smith-Njigba, you've got Lockett, you've got Metcalf, you've got Charbonnet, but you've got a very middle-of-the-road quarterback. So, I mean, unless I see more out of Geno, which I haven't seen, even though DK has the best matchups, is he going to all of a sudden put up 600 yards the rest of the season? I'm not so sure.
Pick one for RB2, Charbonnet, Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson.
Well, look, I think with that one, you're looking at Charbonnet almost as a guarantee of 10 points, even against Dallas, right? You know he's going to catch the ball 4 to 5 times, probably get 30 or 40 yards, probably going to run the ball for 20 to 40 yards. That feels safer. Miles Sanders is just a hard watch right now. I mean, that's not to say that he can't do anything against Tampa, but it's just a hard watch. And I don't remember the third guy, but he wasn't blowing me away when I heard his name.
Your thoughts from a fantasy perspective on the game of the week, the Eagles and the Niners?
Yeah, I think that this is two really good play callers. Brock Purdy only drops back 32 times a game, but look how efficient he is. I think that Shanahan is just a fantastic play caller who's going to devise opportunities for people to get open, right? And I think that Buffalo didn't do a bad job. Buffalo lost that game because their defense wasn't their offense; it was their defense. They took advantage of the Eagles. On the other side, I think the Eagles are a terrific team. I think they are balanced this year with Swift in the running game and Hurts and a couple of fantastic receivers. I expect Dallas Goedert to be back. I think this is a preview of the NFC Championship game. I really do, and I think this is the one game that if I could only watch one, this is the one I want to watch.
All right.
But I think San Francisco's pass rush may be the difference here. Getting Chase Young may be the difference between them going to the Super Bowl and watching it on TV.
Okay, there's thought that apparently Goddard wants to play. The medical people in Philadelphia want him to sit out one more week. They want 4 full weeks for the forearm to heal, and they want to guarantee him for the Cowboys game. So pay attention to that. Goddard's pushing to pay. The doctors are apparently pushing to sit him one more week. Pay attention to that.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I was pretty friendly with the Chargers team doctor at one point.
Dr. Chow, yes.
That it comes down to the team, the team doctor, the player, the coach, the agent. Like, they all get in a room and they all try to figure this out. I'm with you. I think they probably talk Goddard out of playing. But, I mean, obviously, if you're Goddard, you want to be playing this game.
All right, time for just a couple more questions. I got bench one of these players: Henry, White, Moss, Stevenson. Who you benching?
I'm not benching Stevenson against LA. I'm not benching White. I don't know. I mean, yikes. That's a tough one. I mean, hard to bench Henry after he just scored 2 touchdowns. But it's probably my least favorite matchup. But that's a real tough question.
All right. Got a sleeper? You got somebody should pick up thinking of a playoff run.
Well, I got a sleeper just for this week, right? This is a DFS and seasonal sleeper. And even your producer, I just gave it to him. There's a guy named A.T. Perry who went to Wake Forest. I thought he was going to be drafted 3rd round. He ended up going in the 6th round. I don't know what happened. But Rashid Shaheed's out. Michael Thomas is out. There may be a chance that Chris Olave misses this game with a concussion. We don't know. A.T. Perry, at the very least, is going to be the wide receiver 2 this week. He may end up being the wide receiver 1 against the Lions. So if you're desperate for a receiver, either in DFS or in seasonal, I'd look at A.T. Perry.
He's Dr. Roto. Weekend mornings, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, 7 days a week, drroto.com, drroto.com. And you can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Dr. Roto, DRROTO. Hope you had a great holiday. Thanks for your time, Doc. Be well.
Appreciate you guys. Talk to you next week. Bye.
Dr. Roto. Every week on Miller and Moulton, brought to you by the law office of Michael F. Hornon. We want to thank Michael for helping us bring the doctor to you every week, answering your fantasy football questions.
And by the way, congratulations to Michael and his family. His dad turned 100 this week. How about that?
Miller and Moulton, the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Dodd at the Diamond District, is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Did their commercials fire? You were right on it. I'm like, what the hell happened? I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, said it was moving, so I'm like, all right, we're good.
Another listener who went to the Diamond District, let them know that they heard about him listening to the show.
Love it.
So I don't know when it's time for you to walk back in there and talk about a renewal, and we've had about a half a dozen people in the last 2 weeks let us know they went in there and brought us up. And considering the fortune that they're paying for these ads.
Yeah, I know.
He did Canada Relief.
Yep. Philly was there yesterday. We got our system all worked out, got it done in about 10, 15 minutes. No, the thing weighs 40, 50 pounds.
Adam, I actually think a few people went in to tell them, please stop running them. Please.
Yeah, it is really funny for all of you who are not from here to hear those and wonder, who the hell is it? It's big. I mean, it's 5 foot tall, the wreath. It's a 5 foot circle, basically.
Basically, Mark hung a small child yesterday.
Yes.
That sounded great.
Got the lights up on the palm trees, Canada Relief. You were asking about that. You just wrap the outside of the palm tree. I'm a little scared of heights, so going up way high and getting them on the palm leaves themselves does not happen, so I just do the wrap. I did like the person who pointed out, and I don't know what kind of palm that is, but the shorter, fat palm that the guy wraps the outside, and it just looks like a lit penis at night. I thought that was really funny because I know exactly what the palm tree you're talking about.
Well, you don't hear that every day.
You didn't see that in the Twitch chat room. That made me laugh. I kind of looked over to see what they're talking about, and I'm like, it's funny. Yep, Philly got his girlfriend a cat for Christmas because their schedules don't jive. She spends a lot of time alone. She always had cats. She wanted a cat. He got her a cat.
Well, just go make a friend. Oh, man.
You all right over there?
Yeah. Yep. I wish my hands weren't bothering me. It's
hurt to write.
When this acts up, I can barely write.
Wow.
It's never mind anything else. When it's bothering me, the most painful thing I do all week is shake a hand. And I'm a handshaker. I'm gonna look you in the eye and shake your hand, guy.
They're fading fast.
Here we go.
Handshakes.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this final day of November. Thanks for being with us, Miller and Moulton. Hey, we talked about them a couple days ago, and we said they got to get their act together. I mean, just 1-6 for goodness sakes, and not only that, they're getting their butts kicked in the first half in all these games.
And then I turned them on last night. They're on CBS Sports Network. We're talking about FGCU. They're down 10 like that.
And down 15 at the half. And it's like, unbelievable. What is wrong with this team? They've actually got some talent. Picked in the top 3 in the conference. They shouldn't be down 15 at the half to a
bad team who finished making their last 6 shots from the floor. Not any of them were contested. FGCU's defense was awful. Awful.
And would love to know what Coach Chambers said at the half, because all of a sudden they played some basketball.
And they played some defense, David.
FIU scored, I think, 21 points in the whole second half. Thought they were up like 44-29 at the half.
Well, in FGCU, I think it turned it over 12 times or 13 times in the first half. The one kid for FIU had 9 steals in the first half. He set a Conference USA record for steals for a game, and he did it in the half.
But FGCU comes all the way back, actually had a 7-point lead with about 6 minutes to go. FIU had multiple looks to tie it, but all the good shooting in the first half for FIU left them from beyond the arc in the second half, and FGCU with a much needed win.
That's a monster win. I know it was a bad team, but it's a monster win, David. They can't lose to that bad team and go 1-7 with what's ahead on the schedule. I mean, they got a couple of cupcake D2 teams that they're playing or whatever, but FAU's on the schedule the end of December. I mean, they were in jeopardy of having a really awful non-conference schedule, non-conference record, and last night helped immensely.
Well, we were playing the schedule game yesterday off air, and we're going, they might be 4-11 non-conference here if they don't pick it up here soon. And fortunately for them, they get the win against FIU, which only brings them to 2-6. But they still have Cincinnati and Minnesota on the road on the schedule. Well, you can't count those as wins. I mean, that'd be a surprise if they win either game, obviously. So, 2-6, you're basically looking at 2-8. And then, like you said, they've got 2 gifts. They got 2 non-division ones that are also on the schedule. Okay, so you're 4-8. Here's what's going to make the rest of the first half, Mark. At Mercer, at Georgia Southern, home for FAU. Well, win 2 out of 3. You're not going to beat FAU. You're not. Come on now. I mean, I hope they get a crowd. Okay, it'll be the last Saturday in December. Don't know if the Blades are home that night, but it's the Saturday before New Year's. I know there's a Cowboys-Lions game that night. But FAU will be in town. They're nationally ranked and all. The whole Final Four thing. But so we got them, 4-8 with the 2 Georgia roadies, Mercer and Georgia Southern, home for FAU. 1-2. That's 5-10 entering conference play. Maybe they can go 2-1, 6-9 entering conference play. And okay, you got 16 conference games here. Let's go.
Well, they're expected to. I mean, if they're picked second, third in the conference, that's a 12-4,
11-5 at least, right?
Right.
Well, something that's super important to keep in mind, and you guys obviously know this, but it's way more important to get the kinks out now and trend up, because if you make your conference tournament, obviously that's all that matters for these mid-majors. You got to win your conference tournament to get in the big dance.
And it's a low major. They're not, ASUN's not even a mid-major. It's a low major.
Correct. So it's even more of an emphasis. You have to be trending up come February. So they've got time. Pat Chambers is a good coach.
Also,
but last night was a good win.
Liberty's out of the conference now. And the team that won the conference last year, Kennesaw State, lost their coach and all their key guys. So the top of the conference is not what it was last year. And so you're right, Trent. If last night's the spark, they found themselves, whatever the rotation's going to be, et cetera, what the effort needs to be, they do turn it over too much. I mean, even down the stretch as they were holding on, it was a turnover. But I will say it looks like the rotation's been shortened. There's a couple of guys there, Johnston, Weir, neither of whom played. I don't know if injuries are at work there, but, I think they only played 8 last night. So it looks like the rotation got shorter. So we'll see. A big second half. They come from 15 down on the road to beat FIU. First Division I win of the year. Needed it heading into December. Okay.
20 turnovers.
Yeah.
Last night. 20 turnovers to 13 assists. That is an awful, awful ratio.
Well,
and
they just
won.
don't move the ball. They don't move the ball well. That's the one thing that they got to get a lot better at.
So there you go. 2 days ago, we spent a whole segment saying, man, what in the world? So we wanted to give them their props.
And I was ready to have another segment saying, what in the world? I was texting you at halftime going, what in the hell is going on again? Another nationally televised game.
So, big win for Pat Chambers and the crew. I mean, because not only the start this year where they started 1-6, remember they ended last year losing 11 of their final 15. So do the math. Okay, they were 5-17 in their last 22 games as a program, and then there they are down 15 at the break last night. So
really big win, really good comeback, excellent effort in the second half after a lackluster performance in the first half, but they get the job done, squeaking out the win against FIU, and now we'll see where they go from there.
FGCU women, a huge win last night, 77, actually. I mean, that's like, whoa, what was that score? Playing Ave Maria. A little different result when the women played Ave Maria to when the men played Ave Maria. A little different result. FGCU volleyball tonight, 7 o'clock against the Gators, NCAA tournament, if you are interested. And by the way, FSW coach, National Coach of the Year in JUCO. I mean, she's only won back-to-back national championships. I mean, what the heck has she done? They've been around 3 years, too. And they've won 2 national titles. Man, what the hell happened that first year, guys? That is remarkable. That 5 sports, 2 of them have won national championships. 4 of them have competed in fact, softball and volleyball have both won back-to-back national championships.
Right.
Men's basketball has gone deep into the JUCO tournament twice. Remarkable. And the women's basketball team made a run. It has gone to the tournament twice and made a tournament run recently. So the one sport that's a little surprising, I mean, on paper, didn't you think, wow, they're going to have an amazing baseball program.
And should be feeding all kinds of D1 programs for guys that didn't get an opportunity to come play here, and it hasn't panned out quite that way.
No. They are starting to feed guys, though. They are starting to, all of a sudden you see, because in fact, I think a pitcher just signed with Florida State, I thought the other day. But so anyway, that's the kind of the local college update, what's gone on here.
One other little, not local college, but we talked about it, I think, during the break. Miami flipped an Ohio State D lineman.
Yeah.
5-star recruit, 4 by ESPN, 5 by others, whatever you want to say. But they flipped an Ohio State top-end D lineman. Cristobal gets another big recruit to Coral Gables. That defensive line coming in, I mean, he is just killing it at the line of scrimmage. And that's where teams need to get better. That's how you build a program, David. And Cristobal is doing it the right way.
Gator fans looking at that going, seriously? They ain't winning many games, and look at the recruits they're getting.
Yeah, but the Gators class is pretty strong as well.
It is. It is. Listen, we all know Billy's got to hit the portal hard.
David, I even saw perusing X during one of the breaks that Dabo made an offer to a D lineman from a D2 school. Dabo's hitting the portal. You don't think Billy needs to hit the portal? Oh, man.
So I was asked last night, I did a guest radio appearance on a buddy show, and I was asked about Billy Napier. Is he the guy? And I said, well, tell me if you agree with this answer. Well, based on what we've seen in the first 2 years, the answer is no. Now, they're 2 years down this road, and I'm in favor of playing it out. But I did say, but to be honest, I would pick up the phone on the side right now and call Lane Kiffin and say, hey, you interested? Blank piece of paper and a pen. I'll give you whatever you want. You interested? What'd you think about my plan of attack there if I was Scott Strickland? I'm a full steam ahead with Billy Napier. Absolutely slow and steady, wins the race. You got Lane's number?
Here's my only question for you, and I have no problem with your premise. When Strickland goes to whomever to say, I'm going to do this, how does he keep his job? And when you're in a powerful position, you want to keep that powerful position, and bringing in a new football coach, admitting failure again, is a long way to is a hard way rather to keep your job.
I just don't know if there's one person that Scott Strickland answers to that believes that his current football coach is the answer. You know what I mean, Mark? Like if you hired me and you feel as if I'm getting the job done and you're seeing some indication that I'm getting the job done, that's one thing. What have you seen right now that gives you that Billy Napier is getting the job done?
Nothing.
Right. And there's no one that I've talked to of any importance financially with Florida that is on Napier's side. They're tolerating this because they feel trapped.
And they should, because they know if they blow them out, that they're going to lose this recruiting class. They could lose it even if they blow them out after next year. With the portal the way that it is, there's no guarantees that if you fire a coach that the 5-star quarterback's going to stay. Miller and Moulton. Little Gator talk along mixed in with the local talk on Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
So, random question for you guys. How many marquee programs in the country do you think would hire Deion Sanders in a heartbeat over, or how many wouldn't? That's a better way to put it.
Well, I mean,
like how many SEC or top 25 programs in the country do you think wouldn't hire Deion?
Wouldn't?
Yeah.
Top 25
for their coach right now, like just swap them in and out, like Clemson or
most
yeah,
wouldn't.
Most you don't think most would,
but in especially top 20 because they're happy with their. But 21 through 50.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, because they're not worried about recruiting. I guess you're right.
But I mean, Deion's lost 3 big recruits here in a week.
Yeah. It came back to earth, that's for sure. But I do think it would be really interesting to see him in the SEC.
No, Adam, I do think Lane is holding for Alabama, but I also think that the only places that Lane would entertain is a place where he thinks he can legitimately compete for the national championship. And if you have Florida's act together, they can compete for the national championship, obviously. Like, Lane can't compete for the national title where he is now.
Florida or A&M?
Well, it should be A&M. It really should be A&M. But there's no track record of it being A&M.
I will watch it today, Empire. I meant to watch it yesterday, and I totally forgot. I've been watching games at night.
Well, I don't know if he backed out or they backed out on him. Depends on who you talk to.
No. Did you watch Bye Bye Barry with the family?
Nope. Didn't have time because we ended up going to the game, so it wasn't an option. I still haven't seen it. Criminal, but I'll get around to it.
I feel badly for FGCU. The one night they could definitely get Trent to come out to a game. FAU coming to town, big college hoops guy that it is. Yeah, same day and time that Detroit's at Dallas.
I know. I was thinking about going. I saw that. It's like literally it's the night my wife and daughter get back from Pittsburgh. I'm alone. Would be if the game was earlier, I'd go.
I actually, if I was FGCU, I'd move the start time up.
5 o'clock.
Yep, or 4 even. Yep.
Yeah, I'll be locked in a dark room somewhere.
Dark room.
Locked in.
What are you, a Pistons fan? I mean,
or maybe I'll be at Mark's house.
Are we holding you hostage? I mean, a dark room.
At the beginning of the season, my family was going to go to that game in Dallas, but then I moved here.
Army Navy tickets. Jonathan Kraft said Army Navy tickets are harder to get than AFC Championship tickets.
They always are, though.
I just
but yes, but it's in that area. It's never in that area. Yep.
$375 for a nosebleed right now. I mean,
go Navy.
Go Army.
All right, here we go.
I'll say it again. If you ever get a chance to go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, the Diamond District bonus hour here on Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. So Football Friday tomorrow. So Lee will make his picks. Good week last week on the show. 4-1 with his picks. Got his game of the week right. Hell, we all had a good week. Mark was 4-1. I was 6-1. What the heck?
You're going all out this week, aren't you? Do you need your own segment on Friday for your picks?
No. I'll just talk fast, really fast. I do think we should do every game, though. I mean, come on. We only got, what are there, 9, 10? I mean, how many games we got? I say we do them all.
Figured you would.
I mean, first off, you got 2 on Friday, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 10. We got 10. I say we do 10.
I'll tell you what. I'll put it on the listeners. So we do this thing on Twitch, and there's a way for them to tip us. If we get $25 in tips, we'll do all of them, and what we agree on, we'll do as a parlay.
Oh,
what a deal! Wheeling and dealing.
Look,
and if we win the parlay, we won't even split the money. We'll go to a local watering hole the next time you're here. We'll invite the Twitch chat room and anybody else, and we'll just blow that money on them.
All right. Well, you're not going to get 25. You're going to get 125. Come on, people.
Well, first off, if you refer to them as people,
well,
you're
come on, friends.
Hello, friends. Man, now I've got a lot more interested in this MAC championship between Miami of Ohio and Toledo, baby. There's actually a few of these games that do interest me.
How much? And you kind of asked, do you give Seattle any kind of a shot tonight?
I give him a puncher's shot because I think Dallas doesn't really run the ball. And Seattle's not that easy to throw on. So I think Seattle has a chance to match up in the game. Also, Dallas has played really well here. They got the Eagles on deck. I know, nationally televised, all that, but is there a chance that Dallas just doesn't bring their A game tonight? Not saying they're looking past Seattle, but is it possible that they don't bring their A game tonight with the Eagles on deck?
Well, and if you think about it,
so I think they have a puncher's chance, Mark, but they need a really good start, and Gino and company have not been getting off to good starts.
No, and Dallas is on a roll of bringing their A game 5-6 weeks in a row now. I mean, even in the loss against Philadelphia, they brought their A game.
Yes. You could argue, even though that they've won 12 games each of the last 2 years, I would argue that this is their best stretch under Mike McCarthy. Now we'll see. They need a break. They need the Niners to beat the Eagles, and then they get their shot at them, and then okay. This division could be in play. The 1 seed could be in play. We've had Dallas circled as the 5 seed now for 2 months. We'll find out in the next 10 days. Is the 1 very much in play? Think about, by the way, for San Francisco, if they win, they will have beaten Dallas and Philadelphia. The conference record, I think, will be the same as the Eagles, and they'll own the tiebreaker. I mean, the Niners are thinking what they did last year. Remember, the Niners midseason last year ran the table until Purdy got hurt in the title game. That's the game I really want to talk about. You think about it. The Eagles are an underdog at home. They beat Frisco last year, pounded them. They went to the Super Bowl last year. They have the best record in the league, and they're a dog. How, and I don't ever say this word, but how off do you think the Eagles are this week? And they've got 37 quotes from the Niners from immediately after that NFC Championship game to just earlier this week when Deebo Samuels tripled down on one of his quotes. I mean, the Niners have no respect for the Eagles. They made every excuse in the world. They whined after losing because of Purdy's injury. They have bad mouthed the Eagles.
If they whined, I think they brought up the fact that they didn't have a quarterback in the game.
They whined.
The way they did it, though, it came across as whining because it was right after, and it was like But did you see what Hassan Reddick said for the Eagles? Did you see that, David?
I did not. No.
He basically just called them out and went scorched earth and swore in the interview and was like, "Come beat us." Then it was great.
I love it.
Totally. And you know what? These two teams could play in really big games for the next couple of years either. I don't think it'd surprise any of us, would it?
No, this could be a little 3-4 year rivalry, if you will.
Right. Remember, Niners Cowboys had their little thing. Niners Giants had their thing. Okay. Maybe now it's going to be a little Niners Eagles thing. Oh, okay.
I'm in.
Yeah, sure. What the heck? We're all into a thing. We could all do a thing. What's wrong with a good thing?
I do find it, and look at, Roto thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game. Doc flat out thinks this is going to be a track meet.
Yeah.
And Vegas thinks this is going to be a track meet at 47.5 for the over-under. I think that's the second highest over-under on the board this week.
47.5?
Yes.
So Niners favored by 3, so they're basically saying 25-22. Huh.
I think that I could see it going both ways. I mean, I could see this being a low-scoring first half and finally teams getting a little loose in the second half.
All or nothing. It's either low scoring or it's high scoring.
Well, I mean, I could see. I mean, defenses get worn out, and by the time the fourth quarter comes, David and I have come to this conclusion. There's a certain number of plays in which it's just 50, 55 plays in which the defense doesn't have a whole hell of a lot left.
Are you concerned about Philly's secondary?
I'm concerned about how much the Philly defense has played the last 2 weeks. They were on the field for nearly 80 plays in Kansas City. They were on the field for 93, 94 plays
right
Sunday, I'm a little worried about the Eagles' defense's legs in this game, to be brutally honest. You take a look at the Eagles. I give Sirianni all the credit in the world. He knows his guys. Check the Eagles' practice participation yesterday. Okay, he gave a lot of guys the day off, or they were limited, which basically meant they were walking around in sweats and a T-shirt. All right, he knows. That's a tired team right now. Played a lot of games in a row. Hard.
And the fact of the matter is, we all know if the Eagles could have one of the two wins, it's the win against Dallas.
Do you think what David just brought up, do you think that's the biggest reason that they're 2.5-point dogs at home? Did you know, by the way, that's like never happened in the Super Bowl era, that the defending who just went to the Super Bowl is a more than 2.5-point favorite or underdog
At home.
in Philly? That's crazy. Vegas knows something.
By the way, likely mid-50s and rain for the Eagles-Niners game, if that factors in at all. If you think that weather is, just wanted to throw it out there. It's this time of year where you do have to start paying attention to the weather in these games when they're outdoors. Mid-50s, rain, and it's going to be the late start, so it'll get significantly cooler quickly because the sun sets within like a half an hour of kickoff.
It's amazing to me, when the Niners were going and they whooped up on Dallas, this line wouldn't fool anybody. Now the way the Eagles, even though they've been outgained in a couple of games, but they've been winning, I think people are stunned at the number. We'll get into that game and all the other ones tomorrow. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day one and what's on tap. It's how we finish things out on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey, y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We had to sneak the Ben Allen in. Ben
Yeah,
Allen
you knew it was coming.
Add in at least once. Are you still in your survivor pool?
No.
No. Who screwed you?
Who did screw me? Cincinnati.
Bengals.
When Houston beat them.
Oof. That's a tough one to lose to.
Yep.
that was right there.
It's Joe Burrow's 4th year in Cincinnati. You know how many games they won without Joe Burrow?
2.
4.
Ooh. How many of them were his rookie year? Do you know?
Well, they haven't. I think 3 of them were.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm sorry. It's the head coach's record. It's his 5th year as head coach. Do you know how many wins he has without Joe Burrow? 4. Because the Bengals are 2-6 without Burrow.
Okay.
So,
that makes more sense because I remember they were talking about maybe firing Zach Taylor after Joe Burrow's rookie year.
Correct. Because
they went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It was crazy.
Uh-oh, Adam with another huge parlay. You went New England?
You could have thrown the Lions in there.
That's risky, Adam. You went Patriots against Mark's Chargers?
Ah.
I can't wait till we do those picks tomorrow.
Divorced.
Mark, I know you guys are separated and you've hired attorneys and you're heading for divorce, but Chargers Patriots.
Right there, 1993, Canada relief. Right there. Don't think I'm letting that one get by.
Uh-oh. Adam's going to get emotional.
JAGS.
No, I know. Just straight up, but oof.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. We are Miller and Moulton on this final day of November. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope your week has gone well so far. And we'll have Football Friday tomorrow. Lee Sterling, Pat Kerwin, our picks. A lot to kick around. Conference championship weekend. And
apparently we're each making 87 picks tomorrow on the show.
Well, I can't believe you thought that the listeners would not want us to pick every conference championship game. I mean, you said, well, I'll leave it up to you guys as to how many. They're like, well, the 412 then. Pick them all. Besides, it's more ammunition for them to tell us how much we suck. I mean, come on now.
There's always that, David. There's always that end of it.
I mean, you go 7-3 on your picks in the 10 title games, and, what do they bring up? I can't believe you told me to take Toledo.
You know I'm taking Toledo.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1487 we start today, David.
Oh, it's early.
The Germans take their beer very seriously. In fact, the Germans take everything pretty seriously.
I was going to say, the phrase lighten up was somebody talking to a German.
But it was today in 1487 that Albert IV, the Duke of Bavaria, had the first German beer purity law, stating beer should be brewed only from 3 ingredients: water, malt, and hops. 1956. Floyd Patterson becomes the youngest world heavyweight boxing champion at 21 years old, 10 months, 3 weeks, and 5 days, knocking out Archie Moore in the 5th round. The first Olympic gold medalist to win a professional heavyweight title. That would become a trend.
Yeah, let's see. Patterson, Clay, Frazier, Foreman. We had a pretty good run there for a while.
Today in 1971, wives saw their husbands cry like little babies, probably for the first time, because Brian's song premiered on ABC TV. $1979, Pink Floyd's The Wall was released. It would sell 6 million copies in 2 weeks.
It was glorious.
So good. In fact, I'm going to listen to it today, start to finish. That's what I'm doing after the show. Gandhi premiered today in 82.
This just in, it was slow.
David, had to go see it, 7th or 8th grade, whatever I was in, and they took the whole class there. It was really slow.
Slow.
Big day for Moulton today in 82.
Uh-oh.
Thriller was released today.
Oh, show me the money.
Is that 37?
Show me the money. Trent, you don't know the story. I started stealing because of Thriller. I had never done anything wrong. I was a really well-behaved kid. I ran my mouth, but I never did anything wrong. No drinking, no smoking, nothing. And, we figured out that we could steal Thriller cassettes and sell them at the high school. And, we did for months my senior year. $5 a cassette, by the way. Money.
1991, San Diego State's Marshall Faulk becomes the first freshman to capture national rushing and scoring titles. This just in, he was really good.
Yeah, it really was. He did okay at the next level, too.
Yes, he did. 2 things happened in 93. Schindler's List premiered. Speaking of fast-paced, exciting, riveting movies.
Well, and talk about a humdinger.
And the NFL announces its 30th franchise, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There you go, baby.
Today in 05, the Bruins traded Joe Thornton to the Sharks. He'd play for another 25 years.
And not shave the entire time. Man, oh, man.
Kobe told everybody he was retiring at the end of the 2015-2016 season today. And Alabama lost to Auburn in the Iron Bowl 48-45 today in 2019, David.
Yeah, it was crazy. 2 pick sixes for Auburn. Tua had gotten hurt the week before. It was the debut of this kid named Mac Jones. Quick question, by the way. If you're a team needing a quarterback, would you take a flyer on Mac Jones?
I would. I'd bring him in.
Like if you're Tampa Bay, maybe?
Pretty impressive list of birthdays today, particularly those that are no longer with us. Mark Twain, Winston Churchill, Dick Clark, Bill Walsh, and Mindy McCready. Abby Hoffman, the hippie, he's 87. Would have probably had the under. Billy Idol, 68. Probably would have had the under. Bo Jackson, 61. Think he can still convert a 4th and 3?
Straight ahead. Can't go side to side anymore.
Ben Stiller.
I will say it's, Bo's arguably the greatest athlete of the last 50 years. I mean, him or Dion probably. And it is, interesting when you get to a certain age and you see the greatest athlete of an era with a belly.
Pudge Rodriguez is 52. That's all we got. What I miss, David?
Well, this is just, I find it interesting. First off, the first Thanksgiving college football game was played today in 1876.
It's the Rutgers-Princeton game?
No, this is the first Thanksgiving game.
Oh, okay.
1876. Princeton was involved, Mark. Hoboken, New Jersey, the home of college football. Before it was the home of Frank Sinatra. Yale beat Princeton 2-0.
The Barn Burner.
I can't believe Iowa wasn't involved. But actually, I just thought I'd bring this little tidbit up. 49 years ago today, Elton John's greatest hits album reached number 1. Usually when you release the greatest hits, you know, you're near the end, right? Yeah, 74, he released his greatest hits album. He's just now retiring.
From touring.
Right.
He said he's still going to make music. He's not done making music. He's just done touring.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to California for the good, which is really a great. Christina Atkinson is being hailed as a hero for saving her 3-year-old cousin from drowning. Her niece, Maxine, had gone into the pool. Someone discovered Maxine face down in the pool. Parents, grandparents, everybody screaming, everybody freaking out. The 15-year-old was taking a nap when she woke up to all the commotion. And she saw that her cousin was not breathing, and she learned CPR in school. She quickly administered CPR and saved her 3-year-old cousin.
Awesome.
Absolutely awesome. For the bad, we come back to Lee County, where 3 men thought they had figured out the perfect caper. They stole a golf cart.
There you go.
Last week. Problem was the golf cart belonged to Lee County Sheriff's Office and had GPS trackers on it.
Come on, of all the golf carts in Southwest Florida to steal, you steal a sheriff's golf cart? Come on. How stupid are you?
When they were tracked down, not only was the golf cart there, but other items they had stolen were in their car, and they'll spend a little time in the pokey. And finally, the ugly. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. Christopher Boyd was a passenger riding in a vehicle that police pulled over in Evansville, Indiana on Monday for an obscured license plate. The driver and the second passenger were released without charges after they were searched by police. But when they tried to pat down Boyd, they discovered a small bag with multiple pills. He claimed the pills were Percocets that he had received from his Aunt Trish to help from the pain from a bullet lodged in his spine. And he couldn't spread his legs because of the spinal injury.
It's a hell of a story.
When they start to search the groin area, he tensed up. When he was transported to county, he was walking with a limp and appeared to be clenching when he walked. The body scanner discovered a large object was detected in his groin region. A strip shirt revealed 2 plastic bags containing a little weed. But when they were able to get inside of his back pocket, he had stuffed a gun in there.
Huh.
All the way in there.
Oh, come on now. Golly.
Yeah.
Never mind, what if that thing goes off?
Hopefully that safety was hit. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, November the 30th, 2023.
9 games in the NBA tonight. Miami hosting Indiana. That's on NBA TV. Heat only a 1.5-point favorite at home. Interesting. Would you lay the 13.5 with the Knicks? They're hosting 2-16. We've lost 15 in a row. Detroit. Do you think the Knicks will win tonight at home by 14 or more?
Double it. They'll win by 28.
Wow. That's coming from our Piston fan.
I can't hide it anymore, man. Worst win streak in the history of the franchise, or worst losing streak. Big mistake there in the history of the franchise.
Oh, he's taking this hard too.
He really is.
You can hear it in his voice.
That's pain.
Oh man, it'll be okay, man. It'll be okay. The Lions are in first place. The Wings just, got Patrick Kane. Okay, it'll be okay. Really. Panthers are in Montreal to face Les Habitants, who are playing for a second straight night, and the Panthers aren't. So maybe edge Florida. Maybe it's why they're minus 250.
I was going to say they're a significant favorite in this one, David.
And I have to admit, this is worth the price of admission. Penguins in Tampa against the Lightning. Two teams close to one another in the standings. Tampa Bay minus 135. You don't see this very often. The Bruins, who have lost 3 in a row, are home. They're facing the worst team in the league, San Jose. They're minus 500. Don't know that I've ever seen that. 500. We've got college basketball tonight, don't we? I mean, it's not a big night, right? Thursdays.
Yeah, the big night was last night.
Right. But, FAU's playing undefeated Liberty. It's on ESPNU if you're interested at 6 o'clock. We got football tonight. It's Seattle at Dallas. During our show, the line's gone up 0.5 point. The Cowboys are now favored by 9.5. Do you think it gets to 10?
Yes, I do.
Would that cause you to take the points?
No. I don't think Seattle's very good. I think they're reeling, and Dallas is playing the best football that I've seen them play in years.
Their point differential is 162, which I believe is the best in the league. Like, to give you an idea, the Chiefs' point differential is 75. The Cowboys' point differential is 25 better than the Ravens. This is why, by the way, the Niners' point differential is 140. The Cowboys have the best point differential in the league. Almost 100 points better than the Eagles. When they beat you, they whoop up on you.
And think about it. They were whooped by the Niners.
Yeah, like 42-10, right?
And they were beaten significantly by Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona beat them by 12. Niners beat them by 32. Those two Giants games, though.
I understand.
And they won those games by 72 points.
What did I see that Denver is plus 15 if you take out the Dolphins game?
If you're a defensive coordinator, that's what you're doing. These stats don't look complete. Well, it's 16 of our 17 games. Okay. Yeah. We all get a mulligan, right? We're taking a mulligan. Yeah.
Re-tee and hit 3, I'm telling you.
Right. So there you go.
Football Friday edition tomorrow. Lee Sterling, Pat Kerwin, and we make our picks. Have a great day, everybody.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience